I just decided.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's skip tonight. Hey, welcome again. We got another episode of Cardboard Conversations. As always, joined here by the crew. How we doing, fellas?
I thought we were just going to keep this a private chat tonight.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little tired because I've been playing Path of Exile, but other than that, I'm
Oh yeah,
the
staying
new
up
league's
late.
it's not amazing. It's just I don't know. It's coming off of last league. It's kind of a little
It
basic.
just doesn't hold up.
They say you basic. Did they carry over the last league stuff?
No. Well, no. They almost never do. It's like a 50-50 basically on whether or not they're going to do it or not.
Okay, then I have no desire to do that, and I'll just wait for PoE 2.
No desire to do what?
PoE.
They never. The new leagues are a fresh restart, just like Diablo.
Hey,
It's never.
happy
you never
Easter to
carry
you,
anything over.
Mrs. Hillbilly.
Well, but they did, the Uber league, like you were saying, last league for Path of Exile. And if they didn't carry those, what do they call them in PoE?
The essences. Are you mean the wisps?
The wisps and the juicing of the maps is the functionality of it.
So they changed a fuck ton. They added a bunch of quality of life.
1 minute in.
Hell yeah. You didn't monetize this video, did you, Pat?
Not anymore.
Nah, not this one.
Perfect. I meant to. You know, it's funny. I actually meant to say that we should probably not swear within the first. I think it's 7 minutes.
You literally said that at the close of our last wrap up.
Yeah. I mean, I forgot because I'm like half asleep and half awake.
And here I show up sober and everything. You're wasting it.
Anyways, so they added a lot of quality of life. They basically made it so that mapping has been completely changed than what it used to be, and it should be better. Like it should be even better than the juicing from last league for the average person. And the difficulty should be less difficult, but still more rewarding than previously, and it allows you to specialize more. Like you could target farm more of what you really want.
That's one of the things I liked about last Epoch is how going through the echoes and in the whole monolith system, how you were able to do target farming, and it's good to see that that's carrying over as well in other ARPGs like Path of Exile.
Oh, they're probably a main contributor to why GGG's changing their mind. Their mindsets have completely changed all of a sudden over the last year or two. They said that they've been revisiting their ways basically and trying to decide whether or not their thought processes and their methodologies is the correct way to do it. Now that it's a newer era of action RPGs, I would say that other games are ushering in. We won't talk about Diablo 4, but we can talk about Last Epoch, where they definitely added in a bunch of quality of life and a bunch of auto sorting, for instance. GGG, which is the creators of Path of Exile, Grinding Your Games, they've never wanted any kind of auto sorting in their inventory, but now that Last Epoch's done it and people want that, they're actually entertaining the idea of it. So it's crazy that they were super against it, but then all of a sudden another game does it and people receive it well. They have this preconceived notion that the players say they want something, but they don't actually want it, so they just assume that we don't want it. So then they don't give it to us. But then when we get it from another game, they're like, "Oh, you actually did want it? Wow, no way."
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things that we're seeing reflected in Diablo 4 right now as well. Now that they've gone on to Game Pass and they're getting a much wider audience playing it, I think that some of their big shifts coming forward are directly from the community. And I think that that's wonderful for gaming in general. I've been playing a lot of Helldivers 2 lately. What up, Richie? Great to see you. Playing with him a lot, and how community driven that game is as well. I think that that's something that Magic right now is really lacking, is so much of the audience in Magic the Gathering has no way to give feedback, even if it were to
try. I do try whenever they send out those
the community outreach stuff.
I picked this. I took their survey. The
surveys,
I think. Yeah. They were like, basically, they're like, why don't you play Arena anymore? I was like, all right, well, I'll let you know why. Because Commander's not supported.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and some of the questions were very much like, if Commander was supported, would you play? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I definitely would.
I think they would even lack some stuff, though, right? Because a huge part, and I don't think we realize it, of Commander is the politics that goes on. And because of the nature of Arena, I don't think it's a good format for a good platform for the format. I don't think that you can do all of the politicking. Hey, if you attack him, then I'll do this, or if you don't attack me this turn, it would cut it down to a version of Commander that loses, I think, an integral part, including the Rule Zero discussion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it would be super difficult to be able to levelize it, to have different power levels, to have some way to equate that, and it would just be such a free-for-all format. And one thing, especially with it, is how complex a game of Commander is, and how difficult it would be to build a system that functions correctly with all those different interactions. So I'd worry that
Magic Mitgo, Magic the Gathering Online, they have a program that does it. It works. It's a little buggy, but it works.
I mean, if you're you have the chat functionality in there, but it's clunky at best, and that's the cost.
But it functions. It functions like it knows all the interactions. It knows when timing's supposed to happen. It gives you priority. It does everything like Magic is supposed to do. It has the chat feature. It's the problem is it's too outdated. Mostly. Like you're saying, it's too clunky.
It is clunky. No, I agree, and I think what this speaks to, and I think all of us are kind of saying the same thing, is that I think there's a great desire to have an online ability to play besides Spell Table Commander with people online, just so that we can get games in when your friends aren't available, and you don't have to go through Spell Table to get it done. You don't have to have the physical cards. But unfortunately, just the product doesn't exist, which is bizarre, considering by most common opinions that Commander is the format of choice for most people buying Magic.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that another great example to speak to that is how the Commander decks are being received across the board. That's one of the number one entry points. As the box price is getting more and more expensive, the barrier to entry is, matching that nowadays as well. And I mean, realistically, you could almost buy a Commander deck for the price it would be to buy into a draft nowadays. And for how much fun you'll have with a cheap Commander deck versus, all the cards you'll get from an equal draft, I don't know if you'd be having as much fun with those cards on repeated, plays. It's not like I'm going to take my draft deck and use that ever again. I'm going to break the cards out and use those for decks.
Yeah, even if you're drafting for Commander, you're still going to take that deck apart. Maybe you make it better, but you're not going to just leave it as is.
Well, and you run into a whole slew of problems there too, with like the whole alchemy format of cards on Arena, and like it certainly needs to be very, very well developed. Plus, like with your pack openings and your what are those called? Like the to create, what are those resources called? The gold. The common rare,
the embers or whatever.
Not the gems. The ones where you craft for crafting
cards or whatever.
Yeah, wild cards. Sure. That I think that will take a different look, if you bring Commander in. And additionally, so many of the Commander staples are just not even on Arena yet.
Really? Well, that makes sense. They don't support the every format.
What do you mean? They don't. There's like most of Magic.
I don't know what they have on there.
Yeah,
it doesn't go back very far. I think like Pioneer.
They have Brawl, so I assumed with Brawl that they would have more support for Commander.
Like you don't even have a Soul Ring, right? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe you do from Brothers War. No, that didn't have Soul Ring in the
Ancient Tomb.
I don't think so. No.
Maybe Ancient Tomb because it was in the Lord of the Rings.
No, because those weren't in Lord of the Rings. Those were in the.
It was in the balance. It was called Balance Tomb.
Happy Easter to you too.
Yeah, but they weren't part of the set. Just like they keep saying, just like they were saying about, I guess we should get into the Outlaws of Thunder Junction, that the guest ones and whatever they're calling them now, the not reprint set within every set now. they're not legal except, I think what Rosewater said, they're legal only in the formats that they were legal in before. So they don't print those for Arena. Unfortunate.
Are they legal in draft when you draft them? They have to be.
Only at the draft, yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I was just that'd be very awkward if like you had to all right, guys, I'm taking a card out that's not legal. Hold on.
Yeah.
Everybody wait. That'd be really weird.
I think so. I mean, I think they did that because it would make it impossible, right? Everybody would be rare drafting.
Yeah. I mean, some people already do that, but yeah.
I was gonna say that's definitely something that occurs now.
In certain circumstances, yeah. Like if I look at a pack and I see like a bonkers card for me, but then I also see like a card that's worth $30-$40, I'm taking the $30-$40. Like that's guaranteed profit. It's guaranteed value as opposed to hoping that you win, because there's always RNG, there's always misplays.
And then even
there
if
is
you
no
win,
misplay of grabbing a stick card. Just like that one guy that grabbed a Tarmogoyf from the Pro Tour at one point. I 100% support him.
I would have done it to a $400 card
100%.
on a possibility that you might.
It's more than a $400 card because it's Pro Tour stamped. It's worth way more than that. It's almost serialized at that point. It's so uncommon. It probably is the only one, or a very few select. Because it was a foil Tarmogoyf, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think there was anything super special about it.
But
it's just a foil Tarmogoyf. It was worth $400 at the time.
Yeah, like I said,
damn Skippy, I would have taken that card. I mean, that's just. And most people that say that they wouldn't, that like to think that they're altruistic and all this garbage, yes, you would. Yes, you would. Yeah. Everybody would take that draft card. Like 99% of all Magic players are gonna take that card.
What up, Benson? Sorry. He says that he makes his Magic deck sit in the corner with a dunce hat on whenever he loses. It's the deck's fault for being bad.
True.
Well, hey, if you've already got a $400 card, then you won. Right?
Well, and I think
if your deck's bad, there's a really cool feature that we have on the channel. One of the members' perks is that you can have me build you a deck. I like to think I'm a pretty damn good deck builder. So if you're interested in that, become a channel member. And thank you for
having played with and against you more than a few times. I'd say you do very good work, Matt.
Matt is definitely, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean, the only way I know how to describe him above what Pat and I do with playing. I'm probably the lowest try hard, so I'm the try least in the bunch, if that's a thing. And Matt is the try hard in the bunch, just to try to use common terms, but he is very good. You won't enjoy playing against him, I can promise you.
No. I built a casual deck. I think people would enjoy playing against. It's a dice rolling deck. It's from the
Matt's version of a casual deck is about a level 8.
No Mana Crypt, and there's just Soul Ring. There's no Ancient Tomb.
I'm not talking about your level 8, Matt. I'm talking about everybody else
combos. Yeah. I guarantee you this is not 8. I've played it with my friends. It is not an 8. It is about dice rolling. It is not an 8. Trust me. The entire theme of the deck is just rolling dice. It is a very fun deck.
If you microwave a Marshmallow Peep, it turns into an Aftermath booster pack. It's funny you mentioned that, Benson. I was thinking about buying some Aftermath. It's real cheap right now, and Nissa is almost $20. There's a couple of pretty pricey cards of that stuff.
But I mean, seriously, it's
pretty cheap.
I just want to get back. I wasn't attacking Matt on that. He is a very, very good, not just Magic player, but a good game player, period, in anything that he touches. He's skilled at gaming, and that's video gaming, card games, board games. So
what up, Time Capsule?
In essence, to try to give a little credence behind Matt doing that kind of professional service, I would think would really help you, honestly, in probably any format if he really studied it. So I don't know are you limiting it just to Commander decks, or would you be willing to build like Modern and Pioneer and Pauper?
I'd be willing to do Standard. I mean, realistically, I watch enough. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel 100% comfortable building other decks. I mean, I can do enough research, and I know good decks, and I can net deck like the best of them. So I'm a good deck builder when it comes to Commander, but I don't know if I have experience to do other formats. Maybe.
It's not just that he builds good decks, Coach. Matt will pilot my decks better than I ever will. Period.
He does have
He'll
a
make the optimal
critical
choice.
eye. He could definitely pick him out pretty good for sure.
So, I mean, it is kind of a unique, I think, offer, which is what we're trying to do.
I think it's the
people that
best
do
perk
take
we got,
advantage of that.
honestly. Either that or the one. There's another perk. It's a little pricey. I mean, I'll be honest. Some of them are pricey, but the amount of time it would take me to custom build you a deck, get all the art for it from NPC, select all of that, ship it into or buy it from SCG, have it shipped to my house, then ship to you. Like the amount of like effort that would take. That's why the price is somewhat for some of the higher tiers are so high. But like the $50 one where I just like budget you a deck and make a video on it. Like I'll basically tell you how to play the deck, why I built and chose the cards. You pick the theme, you pick the commander, and then we just go for it. And I think that's really good value. I don't know.
I mean, he really is good at it.
Like, it'll take me many hours to build you a good deck, and I'm not going to build just a crap deck. Like I will build it as I will build my own decks. Like I will try to build it at whatever power level you desire. I guess if you want a less powerful deck, I'll do that as well. I know how to trim out power. I've done it tons of times in budget league for the commander leagues that I play in, and I've won my fair share of commander leagues too.
I also do have to admit that we may need to ban Collective Voyage. It popped up on turn 2 in our game yesterday on hard mode with their first playthrough. Now we ran out of time, which is strange, and I think it's just people getting used to the format. It took us like a good 45 minutes, and we ran out of time. We ran up against the time block, and I guess I'll take this down. That's going to be the sleeve shred cell. So take a quick peek, everybody, and that's what will all be popping up later.
Okay.
I just wanted to get it. Oh, it popped right over my face. So I played in the Jake and Joel League yesterday. Not league. They offer as part of their patron package to have a community play day with them where they make themselves available. Congratulations to them on being full-time YouTubers.
Yeah.
And so I got to play with both Jake and Joel. Only got to do commander raids on the second half of the block with Jake, which was a lot of fun, but we didn't get to finish it. It ran over time, which is very rare for commander raids. But we did pop the Collective Voyage on turn 2. It wasn't huge. I want to say we got 5 lands each, but I think it was enough to, kind of charge it up.
I mean, 5 lands on turn 2.
5 lands is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't pop off like it has before with other people. I'm like, okay, save up all your mana, and we just pumped 5 into it.
Yeah, it could have been more broken, but that's still like, I mean, for 1 mana, 15 lands, no, 20 lands hit the battlefield.
20 lands, yeah.
Yeah, like.
So it's gross. So we should probably consider restricting it.
Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I mean, I debate, whether that really deserves a banning or if it should be a turn 0 consideration of take that out of your deck. We don't want to play that. But there may be other people that are, at different levels of competing against the boss monster, and they may want that in there, right? And the luck that you would have, out of 100 cards to have it in your opening hand is still pretty low, even if you mulligan a few times.
Yeah.
But it did.
Had a good point that like whoever's playing the support deck that has it in their deck, they just mulligan down until they get it, and then you win the game. That's kind of the problem that it has.
Can be.
It almost guarantees you win. Like I would actually almost say, I don't ever see a situation where you actually lose if you aggressively mulligan down, Collective Voyage for $1 million, and you're playing decent decks. I think that but again, it's gaming the system. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, if you want to do that,
what's the fun in that?
Oh yeah,
good job. You've done it, but you won nothing.
Nice.
The boss monster's easily, beatable, right? If you put enough counter spells in there and just change the roles to things that favor you guys, especially early on, it's very low chance that the boss monster's going to win. If you have one or two people
difficulties, yeah.
I mean, even on the hardcore difficulties, right? You just massage it to whatever you need.
I did think about a pretty cool role that we can add to like a Giga Pain mode if you want to like really stress something. One of the roles could be it makes the boss master roll all of his results in between each player's turn that round. It's like it's not every time, but like if you roll that result, you're about to get a ton of rolls.
Oh,
and that could be like the finisher of the boss. That's like the omniscience of the boss.
Yeah, Collective Voyage is kind of broken, so I'll acquiesce to that. We can talk about it in more detail later. And I really don't like. I loathe the idea of banning cards. I just don't think that that's the way to go.
We can put together like a soft ban list. Like these are cards we recommend that
not
maybe
playing if you
avoid.
want to have fun.
They are banned.
Game altering cards, and
they are very,
possibly
very,
not.
very powerful.
I mean, Master of Cruelties is almost one of those where it doesn't matter what the monster's life is. You hit him once, he's down at 1 life. Somebody hit him with a lightning bolt. Done.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Somebody literally breathe on him.
It's like, okay, those are kind of busted. Or swap life totals. There's one that you swap life totals. Right? So you start off the game swapping life totals. You're at 200. It's at 40. That's kind of busted.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So Coach wants to know, have any of us collected sports or coins?
To a degree, but not heavily. I have both sports cards and coins, but nothing of any real value. With coins, I tend to go more for bullion at this point, just as a hedge against societal collapse, but it's not a large part of my portfolio.
I have
like
singular
to have
troy ounce
coins
of silver as a coin.
Not me. I mean, I do collect coins, but just whenever I have like foreign money or something, I enjoy keeping that. So I actually have like a random collection of foreign monies. Not worth much at all, maybe $100 randomly from around the world, but I enjoy that. It's not like Confederate notes or anything. It's like, a couple of yen here and there. I think I have some like old rubles, some Vietnamese dong, a bunch of Canadian money because I live like an hour and a half from Canada.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think any of us here could speak intelligently about like numismatic values or sports cards values. I really don't know.
Baseball cards for like a month when I was really young. That's about it. I don't even have any of them from when I collected them. I don't like sports really. Like the closest thing of sports that I like is bowling.
I'm a fan of UFC, but I don't think they're making cards anytime soon.
No, I'm sure they have cards. Why not?
Speaking of UFC,
Dana White shit right there. Oh, look at all
great lead into this night's version of Sleeve, Shred, or Sell. Damn it! I copied it with the highlight around Old Gnawbone. I'm so good at this stuff. I leave the underline on the Death Touch. I got the selection dots around the Old Gnawbone. Thank God it's on the green one. So, I don't know, Pat. How are you looking to do this?
I'm getting on it right now.
Are you going to pick like one at a time, or?
Yeah, let's do Terror of the Peaks, and I'll put in the options of Sleeve, Sell, Shred. All right.
So if you're new to the channel and aren't familiar with this format, we just pick 3 cards that are in semi-equal power.
Live,
and we decide which card of the 3 you would buy, sell, or what was it? Shred, sell, or sleeve?
Sleeve means you're going to keep it, put it in a sleeve, put it in your collection. You might use it. Sell means give me the monies, of course. And shred means F this card. So
Coach says he can.
I know what mine would be. I just never know when during this segment we should like reveal our own picks.
I think after everybody votes, we don't want to persuade the viewer,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No leading the witness.
But I want to lead the witness.
LOL. I got a foil Conor McGregor. I think Conor McGregor comes in foil regularly. Like that's just his personality.
Dude, I watched the movie. With him and Jake Gyllenhaal, Roadhouse.
Oh, Roadhouse,
it was so
right?
Bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's absolutely terrible, and I can't wait to see it.
It's so cheesy. Yeah. It's bad. It's a horrible movie,
bro.
Is that the point of it? Is it supposed to be a cheesy movie?
Say that
I
again,
sure
Matt?
hope so.
Is it supposed to be a cheesy movie?
I think
I hope so, because it's bad. It's very bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be taken to
Seriously.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's fine.
I mean, it's a Florida roadhouse on the highway, and they hire Jake Gyllenhaal to beat up drunks. Like,
Well, no, not drunks, hired thugs.
Hired thugs. Oh,
Like,
right.
Oh God, the premise behind it is just God, like some cheese you would watch in the 80s.
Can't be worse than a Seagal flick. Yeah, honestly,
No,
Steven
it's
Seagal,
on
it
par.
was ridiculous.
It's on par, definitely. And I
And
like
some
Jake
of the
Gyllenhaal.
Bruce Willis movies that were coming out in the last few years, as his health was starting to decline, I feel as though his agent was taking advantage of him and putting him in some of the most ridiculous sci-fi channel movies ever. He was doing like 4 to 5 movies a year for the past couple of years.
And Conor McGregor in that movie was just awful. Like a overacted cartoon. I'm like,
That's him as a human being.
But that's just kind of him in life, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
No, he's over the top him. You should watch it just to see how bad it is.
You know, DJ, it's
I
just
agree with
like
DJ.
reprinting in Magic cards. They're just doing it because it worked before. You know,
there were a couple when I was watching the reveals. Like, why? Why are they reprinting that? Like, it's a
I don't even know
card.
what did they reprint in this set. I don't even know any reprints.
Oh God, we'll get into that in a minute. All right, so do we have the? We'll go ahead and wrap up the poll on Terror of the Peaks. Oh,
okay.
Oh, breaking my heart. So we got 8 votes in, and looks like the majority says bye, Terror of the Peaks.
They want to sell that, get the money out of it.
Give me the monies. Now they're probably doing that because it was just reprinted in this set. So
yeah, it's like a $40-something card, $43 or some shit.
Not anymore. It's like a $35 card now, or $33.
It hasn't even been printed yet.
I know, and it's dropping like a bomb.
Fire selling it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
So
I'd probably do. If I had any, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah, right. I can't knock it because that's how I would do this.
All right. So next up on the chopping block here. So we have to make a decision. Which do we like better between the ancient copper dragon and old Gnawbone? 2 very similar but different colored creatures. Do you sleeve, sell, or shred? I mean, there was a lot.
I don't think they're similar at all. I think there's a clear winner between the two.
Oh, so do I, but
in my eyes.
Oh, in mine for sure.
I've played with both of them, and I know what my choice is.
Well, we'll reveal all 3 of our choices at the end.
Oh, yeah.
We only have 3 votes in. Let's get our votes in, folks. Let's get our votes in. Come on. What do we want to do with this card? I only see 4 votes, 5 votes. Here we go. We're cooking with gas. Tell us what you think about the ancient copper dragon. You got to have some feelings on it. 6 votes. Can we get up? Uh-oh. Can we get up to the 7? And please remember to smack that like button like it stole it from you.
And if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and hit share so your friends can join in on some of the fun as well.
All right. Well, I think that's all we're going to get for participation on this one. So it looks like the ancient copper dragon. I wish I had the soundboard that Matt does not want at all. Yeah, what is that thing called?
I want nothing to do with the soundboard.
Stream Deck.
It's so cheesy.
Stream Deck. Yes, I want a Stream Deck that goes womp womp womp.
It's cheesy, but it's also like effective, and it definitely people enjoy it. Like just because that's one of the tough things.
You don't like it.
Yeah, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not good.
I actively think that I would. I might actually stop doing the podcast if you guys like request a sound. Like if you require a soundboard, I might actually just. I'm like, all right,
we'll just do it. We'll just do it on nights you're not here. How's that?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Every other Saturday we have a soundboard.
I hate it on all the shows that use it. I hate it. Just we don't need noise. Like the fake laughter in shows. I'm just like, I can laugh on my own. I don't need your fucking help. Anyways.
Okay. I get it. You're passionate about that, but I like it.
So it looks like Ancient Copper Dragon.
Oh, it's hitting the shredder, baby.
Shred that thing.
Either they think it's garbage or they just hate it. You can vote to shred something just because you hate the card.
True.
Well, I don't know, Solar God. I think that Roadhouse had a really poor reception at the box office upon release. The original, that is, with Patrick Swayze. I mean, he was pretty hot at the time. You know, he was in what was that? Overboard. So he was
No,
definitely,
he wasn't in Overboard. No, that was Overboard's what's his name from Big Trouble in Little China.
Either way, I mean, Patrick Swayze was definitely in, the zeitgeist. He was definitely
the one that's in the new.
Time, but I think it was considered a flop.
Monarch. Oh damn! What's his name? Jeff Bridges. Is that his name? Was in Overboard.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The 1987 film. Yeah, it is Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. There
we were both wrong.
Well, but it's the same guy that's in Big Trouble in Little China. I just couldn't remember his name. I'm old. Yes, very good, Richie. So, I think the big film around Roadhouse, I think he was in Ghost near that time.
Oh yeah, that movie was freaking terrible.
Well, I mean, it's a big kick flick.
Oh so yeah, for sure.
It's
iconic. The one with the clay, where like the
it is.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know that movie.
He's a ghost and he's kind of like assaulting a woman. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. How about we just say that looks like we are overboard on oh shit, we're neck and neck. We are overboard treading water here between the sleeve and cell. We need a tiebreaker. Anybody out there bold enough, brave enough to get a vote in on Old Gnawbone? Do you want to sleeve it and keep it in your collection? Do you want to sell it? Doesn't seem like anybody wants to shred the card, so it gets a lot of love.
It's good.
But we need a tiebreaker.
Good card.
It is a good card. It is a good card. So that as soon as I saw it. Very nice. All right, I don't know. We might have to wrap it up with a tie. I don't know what to do.
We can be the tiebreaker.
Okay, yeah, there's 3 of us here. So we'll clearly break the tie.
Yeah, so Terror of the Peaks. What were our votes for that?
I was a sleeve on that one. I actually used that in decks. It is a great combo enabler amongst the 3 to do a game ender, right? It'll finish off a game.
Yep.
Mine was sell. It's a good price for a card that I can just proxy.
Yeah, I'd be selling that thing as well. That's exactly what I did when I was opening those, and sold every single one I had second I had them. As far as Ancient Copper Dragon goes, I'm definitely just gonna shred that thing. I don't think it's ever gonna hit correctly. It just doesn't work right.
I said that right.
It's in my dice rolling deck, but it's quite lackluster.
I think it's clunky. I said that right at the very beginning when it was revealed, and everybody was hyped about it, and it was like a $80 or $90 card, I think, at the time. And I'm like, no.
It's still
fairly ridiculous. The price some of those cards were pulling.
It just like, you have not only like does it have to stick around for a turn with no haste, so it could end up doing nothing. For 6 mana, and then you actually have to connect with it, right? And then what if you roll a freaking 1?
If it had haste, I honestly would be completely my outlook would be completely changed.
I agree, and I said that when it came out. In order to, it's a mythic. Like, why wouldn't you at that cost for a 6/5, and it has randomness and it has to connect? Why wouldn't it have haste? Like a missed opportunity to me. I think it would make it far more comparable. Actually, I think it would be far better than Gnawbone at that point if it had haste, but it doesn't. So, yeah, that's it. Like, why?
Shit's hilarious.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and
like,
I mean,
Goldspan Dragon, in my opinion, is a better version of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I would want to sleeve up Old Gnawbone. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's a big body. It's a flyer. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. So if you're stacking up and going tall or spreading out and going wide, you've got a lot of payoff with this. And they're not tapped treasure tokens, which is one of the new, more modern ways to be able to temper the power of a card.
Oh man, that is very what is the word?
Garbage.
Obvious in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. How many of the new things they've been doing to try to bring back power? The only uses a sorcery, only triggers once per turn. Treasures come into play tapped. You can tell, like, they're really trying to like lower the power of cards, but then they continue to print like actually busted cards still. Like, it's very strange. Not terrible. It's not bad. I'm not necessarily against it, but yeah, it's interesting.
So I said sell Old Gnawbone. I think Terror of the Peaks is a far better card amongst the three for my collection and my playstyle.
That thing is bangers. It's a pretty nasty card, and I mean, I've definitely been screwed by it more than a few times. # Miriam Sentinel Worm decks, put in work.
They're pretty strong.
It just gets ridiculous. It's very consistent work too, because you're able to pull out a lot of cards, searching for stuff, getting out dragons. It's pretty nasty. And I think, Richard, you make a funny but good point. I don't know if they do play test anymore. And Ed,
what I love?
Man. Hey, thank you very much.
Dual Brain, thank you. So, Dual Brain, why don't you just put your sleeve, shred, sell on this trio? Which one would you keep, meaning sleeve? Which one would you shred? Just get rid of that Joker. And which one would you sell? I guess I should have sold the Ancient Copper. I didn't realize it was still up at that $80 price point.
Yeah, me neither. I definitely would have restructured.
So y'all sold the wrong one for money.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, I'm gonna shred Terror of the Peaks. Cool. This is what's happening.
So at any rate, my favorite combo with Terror of the Peaks actually is Scute Swarm with some sort of beefier mutated creature on top of Scute Swarm and then just dropping a bunch of lands.
Oh, jeez.
It gets pretty stupid pretty quick.
So yeah, for real, sell that Copper Dragon thing is $80. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I would have sold that Joker instead of Old Gnawbone, and unfortunately, Gnawbone would have got the shred just because I want some more, cabbage in my pocket. But anyways, that's our sleeve. Matt, which one? What was you leaning on? Gnawbone sleeve.
Yeah, sleeve the Gnawbone. Sell. I guess shred the Ancient Copper Dragon, but so like I'm doing it not necessarily based on. I guess my opinion still stands. Like I would much rather shred the Ancient Copper Dragon, even if he's worth more money, just solely on the premise of it just being a better card.
Terror of the Peaks is better. I mean, it might not be more expensive, but it is definitely a better card.
Absolutely.
And I think keeping it in rotation, even though I might not want to have it in my collection, seeing it on the other side of the table definitely provokes a feeling that Ancient Copper the Dragon does not.
Dude, even Old Gnawbone, of those three cards hitting the table opposite you, which one are you going to try to nuke first? You probably won't even have a chance to nuke Terror of the Peaks. Usually when you see that come out, it's like, oh, Terror of the Peaks, and it's like, okay.
It becomes a problem very quickly.
So yeah, I mean that's like a must kill the second it hits the board, or it's just gonna run away. It's a very good card. So yeah, Terror of the Peaks. Hopefully that was fun for you all. I put some thought into it this week, doing my homework since we're getting back to that segment. And let us know if you enjoy that segment here, folks, with the sleeve shred sell, and we'll continue to do so.
I'm glad you did it because I was thinking about it like just as we were about to go live. I'm like, crap, I didn't pick anything. Then I was gonna like rush to try to do it in the middle of it, but I'm like, oh, cool.
And we never followed up on my suggestion. I don't know if we want to do it. I don't even know how to do it. But the rankings of mechanics, and oh boy, they added a bunch of them. So we should probably get into that. Yeah, I saw the art fiasco. I'm trying my best to start leaning a little more positive in content if I can. I don't know what else to say. I could rail on the wanton reprints again, unneeded, unnecessary, incoming, in my opinion. Like, they just said, F you to all collectors. So it's not a collectible game. So I don't mean about being positive, only from the aspect of collectability, for having a collection that was once worth something. And we have to accept that they're going to nuke any value you have there. They're going to nuke any fun that you're going to have out of opening products. And that seems weird to me because, there's been so much fun over the years about opening products and getting that hit. The problem is, and even look at like old boxes. Tempest was up around the $7,000. I just saw one today for like $2,300 for a box of Tempest.
Buy.
It's killing, the value of boxes. Anybody that's been holding on to boxes for any reason, anybody who's got a significant collection, no, they're just going to make it go down. Unless you get lucky, super lucky, and hit those, serialized hyper scarcity cards that they're creating anymore. That's the only thing that you're going to get any value out of. So they took the collecting away from the majority, put it in the hands of just a very small minority of people opening stuff. And unfortunately, they're making the stores eat most of that loss. Like, it's easy for us to stop taking losses. You can do that right now. You just stop. Just don't open your wallet anymore. The stores, they don't have a choice. So it's unfortunate. I mean, that's the model that it's at, and it can't continue that way. They'll continue to sell fewer and fewer boxes. So,
single use. Hey,
my opinion on reprinting is fine. If they do it too much, if they do more than one reprint a year for a single card, then that's a problem to me. Like they do with Urza. Urza was a good example of being printed way too much. I don't know why they decided to print them like 3 or 4 times in 1 year. That made no sense to me. But certain cards do need reprints. I don't know what was reprinted in Thunder Junction, but if it's as a guest slot, then I think it's fine. They're not very common as far as guest slots are.
I will say that I agree with you there. I think if they don't give it a meaningful reprint, that will help. The problem is they just keep adjusting those knobs until they're going to control the absolute price of the secondary market, and I think that makes the secondary market shy away from the product altogether. Like, I want nothing to do with it, right? I don't view my collection anymore as having any value.
I can understand that. I mean, I don't particularly feel as though the majority of my collection holds any monetary value at this point either. I mean, there are a few choice cards I definitely still have, but those are more of a keepsake item, more of a collector's kind of thing, just because they look cool. I mean, foil etch for Exy and Altar isn't very expensive, $30-$40 maybe, but boy, it looks fresh.
Sure. And if they wanted to go purely to just appeal to the game piece players out there, well, that's what they've decided to do, and that's what's going to happen to it. And unfortunately, I just think that that's going to really begin to start hurting the bottom line for WotC, because you just won't have people buying boxes to store. You won't have people buying boxes just to crack for fun because it's just too expensive. And people are shutting down their buy lists, and your stores are shutting down their buy lists, so they're not giving cash. At least it's only store credit. So most people don't want to just lose a bunch of money to get a little bit of store credit. That's just not the way it goes. So we'll see. Like I said, there's about 3 years. I think all this will come to a head. It'll have to pick a direction. And the problem is you could always appeal to the players by reprinting and giving people cheaper stuff. Very, very hard to reestablish a 30-year collector mentality. Like, you're not going to get those people back. So, that's the unfortunate thing is the audience that they've lost is far harder to gain than, the reprint Timmys.
Yeah. It was easier to lose people than it is to gain them back. And I don't think their Universes Beyond crossover stuffs is definitely not performing in the same manner as that they were probably hoping it was. It's definitely not sustainable either. I mean, they'll end up being Weiss Schwartz if that's what they do. If 50% or more of their sets are Universes Beyond, the persona of Magic the Gathering, like the style and feel has definitely gotten so muddied now. I mean,
look behind me. Does that look like a Magic card?
We're talking about like, skeletons with cowboy hats and magical oxen and stuff. Like, it's getting to a very weird place, and it's just getting weirder set by set, year by year. I'm kind of happy for Bloomborough coming up. I think, one, it's going to be a home run of a set, and two, it's a little bit of a reset back to some of Magic's roots. It's anthropomorphic creatures scurrying around in the woods and stuff. You're going to have some cool artifacts. I think it's going to be a nice Midland.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be long.
I pre-ordered Thunder Junction. I'll probably do the same for Bloomborough as well.
Yeah, same thing as what you had done last time. If you could send that in our chat for the Bloomborough, I'll probably want to get in on a couple of boxes as well. Like I said, I think that's going to be a home run of a set.
I think he gets it within like a month or so of the actual release date. Maybe earlier. I'll let you know when he gets it. He'll let me know.
I mean, I have bought some cards, but I just ordered some yesterday or the day before for the new mercenary mechanic. The outlaw mechanic that's coming up in Thunder Junction.
Oh yeah.
And I got 6 pre-release foil copies of the Wrathy Assassin. Number one, I like old school pre-release cards with the date stamps on them. I had one from when I did go to the pre-release, but I only had one.
Yeah, I'll touch base for sure, DJ. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not buying sets. I haven't bought sets in a long time.
I mean, if I could have gotten more Fallout, I would have gone gangbusters. But even on pre-order, that shit was not cheap by any stretch.
Yeah, no, I haven't played. I don't know what the last set I bought, was the Lord of the Rings, and I just waited as long as I thought was prudent. It may go down more, but Lord of the Rings is definitely my jam, and it's very, very iconic to Magic. I was not really satisfied with a lot of the decisions made in Lord of the Rings, and it seems like they're stepping away from that wokeism just a slight bit. I've noticed, like they were pressing very, very hard in that DEI, and it seems like at least they are shying away from that.
Yeah, I think that the reception was probably not great from, especially one of the largest points of it was the recoloring of some characters or coloring of characters in Lord of the Rings, when it very specifically was not lore friendly in something that is very specific about it. It'd be one thing if it were with their own intellectual property, but it felt very out of place. And I think a lot of the community backlash is hopefully to speak out loud that that's not something people were okay with, and it's good that everyone was vocal about that.
I'm just saying, I finally bought that, but that's like a year-old product, Yeah. And I just want to have it sitting on my shelf just in case. But first people fired it recently also with the DEI hires not being cute. That happens to a whole bunch of companies. I don't know if that's happened to WotC or not. I have no idea. I haven't really been following, and honestly, I don't even dig into the quarterly reports like I used to with the fine-tooth comb for Hasbro. I've seen what I need to see. The trend has been long enough. And like I said, until I hear anything reasonable about the reprint policies, first off, they weren't even transparent if they did cut down production runs. They haven't spoken a word about it. Right. So we don't know what they're doing, and it feels very shady that they're going to try to play those games. And people are saying that we suspect there's going to be another release wave yet of Fallout. So we'll wait and see when that happens, if that happens. But it feels like they're playing games, right? And that bothers me personally. That they're not transparent in any way. So I don't know. Until I see something that's more enticing, I only play Commander Raid, so I'm just going to proxy away. I think they're doing this to like generate buzz, to be honest with you. They're holding back. They're going to, and then people that bought these at these prices, you know, I feel bad if there's going to be, I'm not buying them.
This is ridiculous.
So if anybody, you know, if there is another release wave, all these people that you see there on that list, they're going to take it in the shorts.
Yeah, and it's difficult for me because I got a box of this sealed on the shelf behind me. I'm not going down to see my family for Easter. And when I talked to my pop about opening Fallout Magic the Gathering product, he was so disinterested that he just, no, you have fun with it, Pat. You do whatever. You know, you'll have more fun doing it by yourself than, you know, me looking through the cards and stuff. It's like, I was a little bit disheartened by that, but at the same time, you know,
sucks.
Yeah, but also my dad is straightforward enough that it's like,
Sure.
yeah, I probably wouldn't have as much fun than like if for an hour we just watched The Expanse and talked about like sci-fi concepts and humanity in space. So like,
watching that with my mom.
Yeah, so we could definitely have the shared opportunity doing that kind of stuff. So for me, now it's like, do I want to open up a box of this and, you know, go through the cards and have the fun? Or do I just want to sell it and make like, I mean, it was
I'm going to challenge you for something else. And I think over time it may grow on you. Just having that sealed box is the entity itself, right? It's a box of possibilities for you.
Yeah,
always.
I'm with Matt.
Okay.
It's just...
I understand your idea, but like, what happens if you get older and you just don't really want to ever play Magic again? You just have like tens of thousands of dollars of stuff on your shelf that you never want to look at. And that's just disappointing. I'd rather just enjoy it.
Why is that disappointing? At a minimum? Oh, I thought you were saying put Bob back to sleep. I'm like, what did I do?
Sweet dreams, little baby brain.
But at a minimum, I can always look back and say, yeah, I was disciplined enough not to have to give in to see, ooh, what's in the box? Like, okay. Half the lottery tickets I buy, I never even check. I just throw them away.
The bag, I guess. I don't know. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather just enjoy it now.
If you don't have discipline, then you can never know the enjoyment of it. That's the best I can say.
I don't know. I have a reasonable... I probably got, you know, 10, 15 sealed boxes back there of different Magic the Gathering product. And at this point, it's just making me feel more sour as weeks go by. It's like every time... I mean... Dominator Remastered is going to be, what, 5 years before it's even close to what I paid.
That was a bad call right from the start. I did try to warn you before buying them, Pat.
No, I know. And I mean, just like other things as well. Call Time, great set and everything.
But it is a great set.
Flat. Pretty much everything is flat at this point in Magic the Gathering.
It's flat because they keep reprinting. Like, they can't give them room to go up
like
ever.
The speed that stuff comes out at. I mean, it's hard to look back at other sets and think like, ooh, which Ravnica one was the one I liked? It doesn't fucking matter because they're just going to make a new set.
And that here's the thing. That same feeling you have about looking at those and wanting not to open them because there's nothing in there is the same feeling I have about all new product that comes out. I don't feel any more hype about opening anything because it means I'm just going to lose the most amount of money right now.
Yeah. And it goes back to a conversation I was having with Colin, my buddy, and Prime last week on the show. And the buy-in for like fun dollars, right? Like an hour of fun costs X amount of money, no matter what it is. Like, Matt, you went and saw Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
2 hours of fun, $20, $10 per hour. That's what your fun value was.
How'd you know it was $20?
Because that's what a movie costs nowadays, right?
That shit blew my mind. I haven't been to the movies in forever. I asked my sister, I'm like, how much was it? She was like, it was like almost $20. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, and that's before you get a popcorn bucket that you want to be.
I brought my own drink.
Yeah,
I had it in my hoodie pocket. Like, fuck that.
And speaking of movies, Dune 2 popcorn buckets, man, they are selling better than any Magic the Gathering product right now.
What?
It's
speaking of Magic the Gathering and popcorn buckets, why don't we go ahead and start bringing up some of the Outlaws of Junction outdoors?
The Thunder Junction of Outlaws.
In-laws of Thunder Junction.
Because Matt wanted to see the reprints. I think we should start there.
So,
if you want to go to a spoiler.
Okay.
Because I think they separate them out. I think they separate those out. I don't know if it's Magic spoiler or Mythic spoiler. Have them separated out by. I thought you said reprints of Crayon Jack. I keep misreading things anymore.
Jake Canyon.
So why don't we go to the reprints first?
How do I
think they'll be under variants or promos. So some of these are reprints, like the Botanical Sanctum, the Blooming Marsh. Those are from Kaladesh, and they weren't that expensive to begin with. They were like $7. Guess they just needed that reprint.
I do like that if you put them all together, they make a train.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay.
Giggity.
Yep.
Get a train going.
Running a train.
So these are definitely not all of the reprints.
I mean, this looks cool.
I think they might have been the promos. I think you have to go to the promos.
I mean, some of these cards do look dope.
Prismatic Vista, that was one of the reprints. So that's like your big Cavern of Souls, but kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. What is a Prismatic Vista going for now? Oh, there's Escape Shift. So yeah, these are the reprints. That was like a $15 card to $20 card.
Hey,
there we go. There's Lance.
There he is.
Notion Thief. Like Mystic Snake needed a reprint. Like what was? Do me a favor and look at the price history of Mystic Snake. If you can pull up like Echo MTG or something. Like that needed a reprint. Like
I mean, it's practically free. That's a card you would leave behind.
Like
that's a card I would desert.
Brazen Borrower. I wonder what's happened to that one. Like that's got to be getting pretty cheap now. Port Razor. Port Razor needed a reprint. This was what, up to like $50? Oh, woof.
$350 cheapest. Yeah. I mean, these. I really do enjoy the artwork in this.
Oh, there we go. We're getting into it now. The Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
So that was one. A Grindstone was what, like maybe an $8 card. Path to Exile.
These all look like they're from an indie game I'm playing. Like, you know,
they look like they're from Boomtown, which was a TPG. Stoneforge Mystic. What has that done to it? And the Torpor Orb. Mana Drain. Oko. So I think Stoneforge just had like a secret lair or something not too long ago. Yeah. This was like a $50, $60 card not long ago.
Yeah.
Now it's $16. Torpor Orb. Mana Drain. Clear Shot, because we need guns in Magic, apparently.
I mean, how much money do you think a card should be worth?
In a collectible card game, as much as the market will bear. That's the whole concept of collectible. Just take collectible right out of this game.
I don't understand why you contribute or why you attribute collectible with.
What do you plan to do with cards that you open immediately? What are you trying to do with them? Do you get any card with any kind of value? What do you do with it? What's your first thought?
Them. I want to sell them.
Right. That's not a collectible game. I want to do anything but collect them, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but that's I think there were a minority. I don't think Pat and I are like the standard.
Nah,
no, definitely. You are the standard. Everybody's trying to. As soon as they pop them, First thing they want to do is sell that bitch before it loses all its value.
Watercolors were the downfall, huh?
And I agree with Richie. I think that there is like $100 cap that it begins to get oppressive for cards that are highly in demand. If you can't afford a $100 card, how the fuck are you affording a $500 collector box? I don't think Magic is growing, and it's not growing according to the numbers that they're putting out in their quarterly reports. But since they don't publish anything and they're not transparent about a damn thing, how do you know? How can you prove to me that it's growing? Show me anything empirical that shows you that Magic's growing.
They're making more money than ever, right?
No, they actually made less money, but it is what it is. And they're making the money off the backs of the LGSs, not off of the people.
Well, this is pretty.
The LGSs are going out of business left and right.
Businesses in general are going out. I mean, anybody.
No, you're the one that stated the case, Lance, that said that it's growing. You're the one that's making the argument.
No, the game can be growing, but the outlets that sell it might not be. I mean, there are less places that sell fertilizer now than ever, but fertilizer is more used than ever.
Well, and just quite frankly, if you have less stores, you have less places to play Magic.
Yeah, for sure. In an organized way with other people there. But I mean, as Commander Raids, I think, is a great example of a lot of things becoming digitized. Arena being one of those things as well.
But I mean, at this point, I'm just a spectator, really, on the sidelines.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. I could be totally wrong about all of it. So all of you should really watch Pat Short about, I don't know shit. He doesn't know shit. He doesn't know shit. Nobody knows shit.
We're all just making our best guess.
But for me, it doesn't give me any comfort from the things that I see. So which of these
don't own?
Yeah, I mean that's just a pure feels bad commander, right? So you're going to play all those cards where you're ripping cards off other people's decks, right?
Yeah, and
it's like, eek.
Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage, look at the top of it, the next off it. Yeah,
what is green, black, blue?
I could just not do this, and it would be
Sultai.
Cool.
Sultai, okay.
Sultai's the best color combination in the game.
Wow, this is an expensive commander. Holy moly, 8.
You better be insane.
They saw
it costs less for every card in your graveyard.
He has a discount built into him.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Somebody saw Mando and was like, "Oh, I should do that, but on a Magic card."
Yeah, it truly is, man.
This just looks like somebody used AI really well. God, you guys want to touch on that for a bit about Magic the Gathering and copyright infringement?
Oh,
and
the enchantment.
Honestly, I don't want to. I mean, I think that they're such a large company cranking out so much product that things are going to slip through, and they can't control the morality of all of the artists, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they're supposed to check. I don't know if there's a way to check to see if each art submitted is. I'm
sure they run a sort of scan to try to catch things, but that wasn't an exact duplicate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I look at what people are saying.
It was an exact duplicate, but it was an exact duplicate of multiple things put together. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just straight up the card or the guy. It was two different.
Changed if people haven't talked about this, but even the position of that person's right arm had changed. Didn't have anything in the one, did with a sword in it in the other, right? The hairstyle was slightly more cropped in one than the other. Was it clearly a very close representation of it? Sure. But when you start getting into all that nonsense, it's like I don't know where you draw that line of drawing inspiration from something. Everything's a copy of something else, right? either slightly different or slightly better. Now, if it's an exact copy of something, I think then you have an issue. But when it's close but altered, where do you draw that line then?
Yeah, I mean, some of the thumbnails that I make, I get like a little worried that maybe I'm like close to copywriting because like I'll take art and then I'll like edit it a bunch, but I don't know where's the line? Like, how much do I have to edit it to make it my own? Is it just the color? Is it just the shape? Is it just, can I use like some parts of it? I don't know. But I figure we're small enough to where, it probably doesn't matter. And if it does matter,
and I mean, it's one thing to, aim to do a similar style, especially on YouTube thumbnails. I mean, nowadays it's pretty basic stuff, everybody's doing kind of the same thing. So I don't think that there's anything terribly wrong with that kind of stuff. And as far as images and shit like that, there's definitely some fair use, Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I got to be honest, I think at this point, artists, if they're getting paid at all, are lucky because AI today, you can clearly see that's going to be replacing
good.
a whole lot of artists really soon. It's going to be replacing.
Yeah, I mean, like the thumbnail for this one, that took me about 5 minutes. I think that was the second generation on an AI thing this morning, and then going to like cooltext.com.
AI's only going to get a lot better from here, right?
Yeah,
like in the next 10 years, it's going to be surpassing what artists do.
10 months. The next 10 months are going to be so compoundingly changing. And that's one of the things about the parabolic curve of increase we're seeing in intelligence in these systems. Like, large models are just becoming better and better and better because they're like doing machine learning against each other. So now they're like checking each other instead of just generating wildly. So like the amount of hallucinations we've seen in AI is just dropped to the floor.
And it's going to continue to get better. So at this point, if I was an artist, I would be very afraid if that was what I was doing for a living. And honestly, as you saw, you not just art. How about the generation you did for the exit for our show? So literary works are going to be in jeopardy. Artworks are going to be in jeopardy. Anything creative is going to be in jeopardy. Even my job as a software engineer. They're getting good at creating code.
It does come out with a lot of extra like fingers and stuff. I was screwing around with a puppy playing with the dinosaur in the style of a coloring book with heavy lines, all black and white, so you could fill it in yourself. And the dog kept coming out with like 6 legs. It was so wild.
Dude, it loved adding limbs.
DJ is right with his thing, and I've said this before. I even mentioned it to my daughter. I've mentioned it to a few people. The term that you're looking for there is a term out there. It's called prompt engineering.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a huge field in the coming years.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, yes, you have to. Yeah, you can have all the great, how do we put this? Like in an orchestra, you can have the best orchestral players in the world on every different instrument, but you still need to have a conductor that makes them all come together in a useful and meaningful way. Otherwise, your symphony just sounds like shit. So you're going to need to have prompt engineers at whatever skill set that they're doing, and they're going to have to know how to communicate effectively with AI and the different iterations of AI. AI is changing so fast right now. It's insane. Like, I can't even keep up with whatever the latest versions of things are.
I gotta say, I love this. Was one of my favorite ones. If Tremors was an anime series.
That's pretty good. It's pretty dope. I'd watch whatever that is.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. And I think, we're seeing so many different uses and back end ins and outs for AI. So one of the things I've been doing lately is creating short stories, like small movie synopses, and then taking those and then jamming it back into AI and saying, give me 5 storyboard designs that will explain this movie. So in about 15 minutes, you can design a story and then have a storyboard of images to go along with it and stuff like that. It's not the software that's going to take over. It's people that use the software that are going to do better and better with it. I mean, like, you're seeing how Super Fast Tortoise, what he's doing for his editing and his creation, phenomenal. And it's just getting better and better the more that people use it. Stuff like Sora. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tyler Perry was building an $800 million production studio, and he stopped when Sora came out on the market. Like,
well,
just
here's the thing: you're going to have everything replaced.
Yeah,
movies, music. Like they're going to have full-on movies rather than paying actors, $50 million for it. You just pay for the cycles for the AI to insert.
Yeah.
Like when did you see Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian?
I don't watch Star Wars stuff.
It was astounding what that they can actually do with AI in movies. That they look just like people.
Yeah,
honestly, The Mandalorian is fairly far away from Star Wars. You might enjoy it if you don't like Star Wars, but you like Mandalorian.
The only reason I'm like any part familiar with The Mandalorian is because Disney has been doing some of the most progressive stuff as far as like their Imagineers and shit. What they did for The Mandalorian, they had like a 40-foot LED wall. It was just like a giant panel of TVs, so that the person walking around wasn't just on a green screen set. They actually had something to look at and interact. And it made things so much easier in the editing and post. And now they have like these like walk around mats where you stand on this mat and you can walk in any direction and it just moves you, like those FedEx packing facility floors. Disney's doing some really good stuff. They've got some incredible mechanical engineering.
Now imagine getting rid of all that and just doing it on a computer. Like AI is going so fast that in our lifetime, I think that we're going to see entire replacements of movie studios, of sound sets and stages. But I mean, you may still have. I bet the voice acting will still have to be done by people
to some extent.
Wow, you could definitely get that done a whole lot cheaper than you can hiring actors to be on set. So I think that we'll see ultimately an entire replacement. It's all AI. Like we'll see first AI movie. Mark my words, it'll happen probably in the next 5 to 10 years. That's all AI.
Yeah. I mean, there are some that are already short. There was a Sora one that was, I think, 60 seconds. And that's, I mean, a clip, I guess. But that's on the way to a short film. I mean, in 60 seconds, you can have an emotional attachment and experience in something.
Sure.
And it's just going to get longer and better. Giggity.
Yeah.
I think that.
I mean, I think that's where we're heading. You know, our entertainment is going to get replaced. The entertainment creators will get replaced first. I think that's going to be the easiest thing and a huge cost reduction. Right. I think that, you know, in the same vein where that's going to meld onto the battlefield. Like, I don't know how much we're allowed to talk about this on YouTube, but I think it's the writing's on the wall if you're paying attention to what's going on over in Europe.
Oh, and cyber warfare in general is definitely.
I just mean the drones, man. Now marry drones with AI. Like, why would you ever build a tank or a ship?
You know, they can do target acquisition. That's something that we have with the Geneva Accords, but the final choice has to be made by a human. They can do all sorts of target acquisition and fly around and like self-monitor and
no, we've had missiles for decades on our planes that do target acquisition that have nothing to do with human beings.
It's just that the final
there's what's called a fire and forget method of warfare, which we've had for decades.
Well, fire and forget is, you know, guided missile systems.
Okay, but it's making the final choice of what target to hit.
No, you hit it. They find the target, but a person still has to hit a button.
No. You get an initial target acquisition, and once you press the button,
that's what I mean.
And it's going to determine what target it hits.
That's what it. There still has to be the choice of the person saying go.
Sure, and what I'm going to say is that what they're going to do is say that all targets that are drone targets are just going to be pick one. Nobody's going to care about picking a drone. You're not picking a human being. You're just taking out a drone. So I'm just saying that all of this is melding into. We're at a fundamental shift in human evolution, in the human experience, both with warfare, entertainment. Like, so much is going to change in the next 20 years. Humanity is going to have some very, very serious existential questions to answer, right?
Oh yeah, what is consciousness is still eluding people, and it has for hundreds, if not thousands of years at this point. One of the most philosophical questions is, what is it to be a person? What is a soul? What does existing mean? You know? And
I think one of the things we're going to see first, though, is like replacing people at drive-thrus with AI at the ordering kiosk.
Well, and not just that, but also like the integration of the Burgermeister robots that make burger. Like you load it up with ground beef and some lettuce in another tin and buns in another, and it just makes burgers. And then you have that powered by the AI speaker box that talks to people. You have the self cash out where you either tap your card or stick in cash. And now there's like one person. It's like you're at Aldi's where there's like two people in the whole freaking store, Dollar General style, where it's mostly self-service or it's all functionality built in by machinery. And part of that machinery is now the interfacing.
So a large part of that, I think, is going to be a cost savings, to wrap this back around, because we are kind of drifting far from it. But for Magic, right, we began talking about the AI or art controversy where AI is coming into this. And so extremely long answer and going down a very deep rabbit hole there is that, did they rip him off? Possibly. I think people are a bit more outraged than they should be, because
I don't care.
The AI is going to just knock everybody out, like, period. It's coming. There's no avoiding it. Artists cost too much money. Like, how much does it cost you to generate 5,000 images in AI, and how long does it take?
I mean, realistically, you could do those in synchronicity as well. So like, it just comes down to the processing power. You got to pay,
especially if you pay.
Yeah.
Although you can actually download.
If they purchase AI itself, if WotC says, fine, rather than hiring 100 artists, we're going to purchase this AI, and we're just going to generate nonstop images all the time. It's going to cost them a fraction of what it costs them to buy art from real people.
Oh, for sure. And honestly,
so that's coming.
There's some pretty good art that AI makes. I mean,
sure.
I'm not a big artsy guy, so like I'm not the one to like really. My opinion on it is that I don't care where the art comes from. Realistically, I don't have any allegiance to artists or anything, and I get that we should be valuing people over art, but at the same time, people made the algorithms that make the art, so it's kind of still the same, but in a different way.
Oh,
it does that sometimes. Yeah.
But here's the thing: like, I don't think the artists will go away entirely, but they'll become more artisanal. Like,
air creating image.
Like blacksmiths or like the guys that make samurai swords now, or the people that even make kitchen knives or handmade whatever. This deck box, right? That Justin made for me. All that handcrafted artisan type stuff going to be a thing in the past, and I'm gonna include chefs into that mix, right?
Sure.
That there's going to be more technologies because people are expecting. Do you know what the minimum wage is in California and Washington State now, or at least Seattle? What? Minimum wage. State
minimum wage. I thought you said minimum age. I'm like, minimum age for what?
Yeah. Oh, baby.
What's the minimum age? I think it's 16, but I don't. Why yet?
Sure. Oh wow! Wasn't going there.
I was like, where did that come from?
But do you know what it is?
No.
I want to say 20.
It's $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's not sustainable. The businesses can't sustain. They just fired like 1,300 Uber Eats drivers or something. So it's crazy, that these people that want these exorbitant salaries to live in, ridiculously priced states, that they just can't afford it, and they just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into debt, right?
Yeah, I think
That all has
Ohio
to
is one of
change.
the cheapest places to live. It's actually like in the country. It's kind of wild.
Ohio's dope.
Yeah, when I talked to
Good
my
wages and
buddy,
low cost of living.
my buddy lives in he lived in Washington. He moved to Montana. The cost of housing there compared to here, it was like we're like half or more. It's pretty wild.
I mean, our house prices are still pretty absurd here.
No. That's what I'm talking about. Housing. I'm talking about buying a house. It's like half of what it is in most countries or most other states.
Most countries.
Well, I say country because I'm including Canada. They are kind of another country.
I mean, it depends on where you live here in Ohio, but like it's still absurdly expensive in places here.
I mean, if you can get a decent house for $150K, like that's pretty good. And anywhere else, like
not in my town.
Yeah, but you want to live in a bougie place. You can still live in a decent
neighborhood. Bougie?
You're in like an enclosure. You're like you have your own little like.
I'm talking about the whole town. I'm looking for places for my daughter to possibly buy a house, and it's like we have to go all the way out to the sticks or Parma to get a cheap house.
Parma's a really good place. I wouldn't do Garfield. I wouldn't do anywhere near Cleveland, obviously. But yeah, I mean,
that's what I say. If you get out in the anyways, it's still pretty expensive, but it's not as bad as other places.
It's about double what it used to be. I'll say that.
I think Tennessee is like the cheapest, the all-around best. I think
we're like top 3 in the country.
I thought we were like 18th.
I remember looking at something, and it was like certain places in Ohio is like the top 3 cheapest places to live for what you get for But I think it's been going up.
It's not bad, but we have high taxes compared to a lot of other places. We tax Social Security. There's lots of things that we do that are not so great.
Sure.
At any rate, plus like depending, like I pay
spreading $82
taxes. I pay taxes both where I live and
multiple places. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, and they have RETA tax, which I don't have, thank God, because I don't live in Cuyahoga.
Speaking of taxes, I actually do need to pay my city taxes.
But I mean, no individual tax here is super high, but when you start adding them all up, you're like, Jesus, I'm paying 6 different taxes. City, county, state, and city, county where you work, and federal. It's like, good God.
Vermont's not cheap either by any stretch.
No, you guys were ranked way up there on like the worst value for the money. It's like, oh Jesus.
It is more expensive to live here, but what you get is worth it here. Like as far as looking around at mountains and stuff, like I look out my window when I'm taking a dump and I see like a mountain. Like that's pretty dope. When we were in Indianapolis and I was driving with Matt, I was like, everything's flat. Like there's nothing to break up the horizon. It's just you see road, a couple of buildings, and then just sky all the way back to the exact same thing behind you. There's nothing.
I'm
boring as shit.
I'm okay with the cost for a view. I can buy a fucking picture of a mountain.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
sorry, I'll get a proxy for that cost. I'll just proxy the mountain.
That's why I'm moving out of country when I retire. That's still my plan.
But it's like we just took a peek at Outlaws. Do we not want to look at Outlaws and the rest of it?
I mean,
I still got it pulled up.
Talk about life. Because there's some good cards. And what about the bounty thing? Did you want to talk about that at all? Or any of the new mechanics?
Yes.
Because I mean, if we're not going to talk about that, I do have some exciting news about Lorcana for any Lorcana fans out there. Because I wasn't here last week for the show, and I don't know, Pat, did you cover it at all about Ursula?
Nope.
So some good stuff coming up there.
Really I saw that there were infinite Inkline packs at my Walmart.
That's good. That's a good sign. It needs to have that. It desperately that game definitely needs to have that. How much?
$7, $6.78 or $6.98.
That's a little on the pricey side, but I guess everything's pricey now. So I guess kind of.
Yeah, I was looking at I almost bought some just to like if they were cheap enough. But then I looked at how much they were on TCG Player, and they were like $8 to $9. I'm like, oh, it's like $1. Who cares? I'm not gonna buy it just to try to make $1.
Yeah.
No, and like I said, it's
free
not something I would.
I think this is cool. Another
This is great. It's one of a first,
card.
right? It's the first, as far as I know, instant speed white board wipe.
No, yeah.
No, well,
Dismantling
Wave's kind of a board wipe, but not really. No. There's a There's a one where you can pay more mana and you can cast it as an instant. That's already a thing. It's called Brain. Can you do it? Can you figure it out, brother?
I'm not familiar with Brain. Can you do it?
Whoa, Richie joining up for 7 more months of these shenanigans.
No. That's how long he's been a member.
He has been a member for 7 months.
He's been a member for 7 months.
Very nice.
Yes, been a long-term member. Kudos and thank you, Richie Dubs. You are the man.
Thanks,
definitely appreciate that.
What a guy. And thank you again, Richie, for putting up with me while we're out playing some Helldivers too. I'll probably be getting into that once the show's all closed up for the night here. Man, that game's been so fun. That is the right way to do a live.
Oh, and he gifted somebody a membership. Thanks you on top of that, Richie. That is, dude, that's very, very generous of you. Thank you very much.
There's definitely going to be more member-only content. What I plan to do, this is something I haven't ran past the 2 other guys in the channel, but I don't think they care. What I plan to do is typically I film my videos or record my videos in batches. That's just kind of how I work. So I'll do like all the shorts at once, and then I'll schedule them out, and then I'll do like the deck techs. I'll do like multiple deck techs at once, and then I'll schedule them out. What I was thinking about doing was for the members, I was thinking of making it so that they can basically have access to all my deck tech videos prior to being published.
It's a good idea.
I think
unfortunately, I haven't done videos much, and I don't want to do many because most of what grabs my attention currently is fairly on the negative trend. So I don't really want to put those out there and just have us all very negative. Matt's videos are very positive. And the ones Pat's doing.
You can do like in our we have a Discord if you guys are interested. It's free. You can just come join and just hang out. But there's been a couple of guys that mainly one. He's like doing it Into the Inklands boss. Have you looked into that?
I saw that he put one out there. I haven't yet looked at it, but we'll get into that a little bit more after we're done talking about Magic here in a minute. And we'll get into like what we've been doing for the past week. But yeah, I still want to encourage, and anybody watching this, anybody that's catching this after the fact, please understand the Commander Raids, we sincerely want everyone that's in that world to contribute, to take it as their own as well, to make different versions of it, to give us your feedback on it. And it's not, we don't jealously guard the format. That's not the idea of it. It's meant to be something for everyone to enjoy. We want to hear your feedback, and we want to see all your creativity on the types of bosses that you want to play or the way you want to play the game, which is why I'm so hesitant to be on the ban because it's bad for the format. I think it's better for people to decide what cards they want to play. So, we want you all to be a vibrant part of that community. I've been bad at not putting up as many games. Work's just been crushing, and I know that's terrible. We don't get paid for this, so it is what it is. And I have a job that I, literally, Pat said he's going to go do more Helldiver. I'm going to go back up and transfer some more tables for work. I've been working all weekend, and will continue to do so. So, unfortunately, work has just been a grunt for a long time for me. So, my apologies if I haven't been as active as I should be in the community. But please, by all means, get in there. Post that you want to be in a Commander Raids game. There's a looking for group channel that you can post. Hey, I want to play. And see if we can't get more buzz and more people playing it. I think it's a great opportunity.
And more and more people are getting in all the time, so it's definitely super active in the community. We're growing every day, not just here on the channel, but also in the Discord there. And it's great because there's such a community-driven aspect to it, and people are so creative in making up new monsters and boss sheets as they come out. especially with different sets. I know I was really enthused for Fallout. I created a corrupted overseer, and I love that little bit of thematic flair for each new set coming up. So definitely looking forward to continuing that trend, and I might cook up something for Outlaws of Thunder Junction as well.
Love you too, Sherry Vegas, and I don't know for
Oh,
she's awesome. She is really, really awesome. I don't know for DJ. It's a good question. I don't really pay attention to the metrics on subs. I honestly I don't even know what we're at for subs. But I want to build a community. You know what I mean? I don't worry so much about subs as I do you all in the community. I truly care about everybody in the community, which is why I speak my mind. And like everybody else that doesn't tune in, kind of their loss in my opinion if they don't hear the words that we say. I'm sorry that Lance, I must have made him bounce. I don't agree with his take on it, and that's why I was trying to bring up the point that he doesn't know, and neither do I, whether Magic's growing or shrinking. I bring up points, and like I said, I argue with Matt all the time, about our perspectives on whether our collections are gaining or losing value. So again, I'm not the definitive source. I see things, I say things, and it's up to you all to determine the validity or if they're useful to you, right? So again, I always encourage everybody out there to do their own homework.
Yep.
Right.
You can always use everybody as a resource, use them as a helping deciding factor, but at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're making an educated decision based on, facts and not being misled or being told in one specific way. Because you have to remember that there are people out there that will try to take advantage of,
they're trying to push the narrative.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
They try to push the narrative because they have something to gain. I don't think anybody here has anything to gain, not on this channel. Like, we don't push the markets because, well, we don't care to, I guess.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Nor do we have the reach to do it. And even if we could, I wouldn't be here if I felt that Matt was doing something dishonest to take advantage of our community. So that's where I pay attention. Is I really do feel like it's a community that I enjoy seeing you all out there. I enjoy interacting with all of you. And I really do appreciate all the comments that people bring every Saturday and give us their time. So I don't want to do anything dirty to you folks, and I wouldn't tolerate it if I saw Pat or Matt doing anything I thought was disingenuous or underhanded.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be here. At least they could do it on their own. I would just leave the channel.
Right.
And I try not to do anything dirty. So anything that I'm saying, it's not like I'm trying to get anybody to quit Magic and sell off their collection. I tell everybody, don't sell a damn thing. Like, hold on to it.
Yeah. That's always a
they're the two sellers. I'm the guy. They're more positive than I am, and I'm Mr. Don't sell your shit.
Yeah. That's that's
the highest tier pay level as a channel member, that we can do a private Discord, and I will call you dirty things.
Sure.
I will even send you pictures of my feet.
He will use the new saddle mechanic to make you his ride.
Dude, I was joking on Jake and Joel's channel about that with the saddle mechanic. I was like, I want to crew all my vehicles with saddled creatures. And then I want to ride them with other crewed vehicles.
It seems like an odd but fun new mechanic. I don't know if I enjoy it as much as like Spree.
Dude, I really don't even know all the mechanics and the hidden card type with Outlaw. Jake and Joel came up with a new acronym for it, Warm P.
Warm P? What?
Yeah, that's what Outlaws are, Warm P.
Was it Warriors, Assassins, something?
Not Warriors, Wizards.
I don't know.
Wizards, Assassins, Rogues, Mercenaries.
No, I don't think wizards are an outlaw.
Yes, they are. Wizards, assassins, rogues, mercenaries, and pirates.
It doesn't sound right. Is it
Okay.
villains? What is it called? The outlaws. Where outlaws seize their funds. Assassins, mercenaries, pirates, and warlocks.
Warlocks. Sorry, not wizards. Warlocks.
I was gonna say, I'm fairly certain wizards aren't.
It was a W. Sorry, I missed out. Warlocks, wizards. I'm so
and I'm
far
like,
off.
I never remember seeing wizards.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Wizards are criminals, but that's just something different.
Okay. Yeah, huge difference between a wizard and a warlock. But yeah, I knew there was a W. Warm P. So that's how you can remember it. But it's not printed on the card whether or not it's an outlaw. It's like party, right?
You just gotta know.
What was that?
Yeah, it's retroactive.
Wizards, clerics, rogues, and
fighters.
Warriors.
I guess it'd be warriors.
Yeah. Warrior.
Right. So I guess rogues are the only one that are both outlaws and parties. So I don't know, Richie. They're dudes that cast spells. I don't know. At any rate, there are going to be some interesting mechanics, and my pet card is great with both of those.
Did he ask what's the difference between a warlock and a wizard? There's a huge difference. So wizards study the arcane arts, and they get their magic based on like arcane components and like like hand gestures and whatnot. Warlocks get their powers from a dark being, some being of some god or some demon or some extra powerful creature that's able to impart some of their power onto their patrons, and they get their power just basically for dedicating their willpower to that
saying the same thing in my head, Richie.
Nerd.
But they're dudes that wear robes that cast spells. Both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them are, in fact, that. Yes.
So at any rate, my bad. Matt was right. I was wrong.
Speaking of being nerds, don't forget to tune in Sunday evenings to catch some Dungeons and Dragons gameplay.
Yeah, we won't have any this week because it's Easter. So I'll be at my dad's, or actually I'll be at my stepmom's this year, first year at her new house. But next week we'll be playing Nate's game, if you're familiar with Scars of Thwackerdune, if you've tuned in at all to those games. And then I'll be DMing for the first time in about a year. I'm going to be doing a homemade campaign that takes place in the Underdark for some drow action, some uprising, getting rid of Lolth for good, forever. It's going to be game changing.
Delete her from the pantheon of gods.
Seriously, that's the plan.
Oh, dag.
So with the outlaw
power
mechanic,
vacuum for all the other dark deities. Whoa!
I like that rogue, the Vile Smasher one. I think I might build a deck for that guy.
Really?
Yeah. Build the Vile Smasher deck and then basically play like Maskwood Nexus and see if I can't do a bunch of recursion and like make a bunch of Maskwood. Hell yeah, I do.
The card is super good. I see it, Bob. I see it.
I see it as a card that, in theory, it sounds like it's really good, but then when you play it, you're like, "Wow, this card fucking blows."
Now I've had it like work.
I've seen it pop off
every time I use it. Yeah,
you just have it sitting in the battlefield, like, man, I really wish I could like do something with my life.
That's so it's not hard. It's not hard if that's what you're trying to say.
It's not a bad card.
Yeah.
It's just that it's like a win more card. Like the idea that it's like going to actually do more than it's not going to. I don't know. I tend to not try to jump through too many hoops to do cool stuff. I just want to do the cool thing. Like
I want to jump through a lot of complicated hoops. I'm exactly the opposite. I want to do lots of janky shit. And if it's like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You just want to put two pieces together and have it like be done. And I want to put together like how long can I make this Jenga chain and actually make it go off, right? I want a 7-card combo, right?
Combo breaker.
That guy doing some shenanigans. Landfall, man. Good old Landfall. I like that. That's still such a powerful.
I don't know which
style
one is
of
that. The 2-drop plant guy. What is that?
2-drop plant
On
guy?
the Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
No, I highly doubt that they have any American West references as far as that stuff goes. I think that Wizards is going to stay as fucking far away from that as possible.
I think they've kind of gotten their toes burnt, dipping into the pool of wokeness.
It's definitely not.
And I think it's not the place for it. I'll be quite honest. It's not the place for it. And
Ooh, I got a shiny. Are you playing Pokemon Prime?
Okay.
Oh,
so
I finally got a shiny in Pokemon Go.
I've never played Pokemon Go.
You're not really.
Although I have gotten some shinies in Power World. Man, that game was fun when it was fun. But
yeah, it died out pretty quick.
Burn up. Yeah, it was like gone. It's like whoa.
Yep.
Okay,
like I said that from the get-go. I'm like, I'm having fun, but this game's not gonna last.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it makes sense too. I mean, it's unfinished in a number of different ways, not just with like the jankiness of it, but there's just not enough to do. The technology taps out at 50, and if it were doubled and went to 100 and you had more stuff to do, absolutely, yeah.
But that's most games, right? Like even very good games. Nobody's talking about Baldur's Gate 3 anymore. Nobody's talking about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Baldur's Gate's still pretty hot.
But yeah, BG3. Well, it's been in the news a little bit because Sven.
I see it in my feed all the time.
The lead of Larian Studios in an interview recently said that they will not be making Baldur's Gate 4. They will not do any expansions for BG3. That they are, for all intents and purposes, done with BG3, except for like some minor updates and maintenance. They'll continue with hot fixes, making it completely polished as a gem, but that
their reasoning is fairly sound. I understand why. They said that they have much cooler things that they'd like to do in combat and in the game that isn't constricted by Dungeons and Dragons. Like they don't want to be constricted by having to roll D20 and then having to have all the dice mechanic and having to have like the spell slots. They want to like evolve that part, which I think is fine because Baldur's Gate is a super good D&D interpretation, but it is limiting. Like I kept, as I was playing Baldur's Gate, I kept thinking, am I having more fun than Divinity? Divinity was super fun. I just remember making builds and Original Sin. I just remember like making these like crazy good builds and like it you didn't have like the resources, you just had actions. You didn't have to worry about your spell slots. You didn't have to worry about any like the resources, and it just felt it was, like I said, it was very good at imitating D&D, but at the same time, I'd rather just maybe play Divinity. I'm not sure. I played through Divinity or Baldur's Gate 3 twice. I'm pretty happy. Very good game. I'll probably play it again. I know there's a slew of mods that make the game apparently even better.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I did pretty early on, was modding the game. And there is so much room for customization, personalization, and expansion. One of the first mods I got was allowing you to get to level 20. And built in, you could get 25, 50, or 100% more experience as you played. You just couldn't go past level 12 in any one background or class, So you could multi-class, yeah, for sure, and just had so much more power early on.
Does it scale the monsters higher?
No, but you can just increase the level difficulty, and that's something else as well. Is customized difficulties is another thing that people have been doing, adding in more monsters during your encounters, having more encounters, higher health pools, more spells for your enemies, and custom gear as well. There's definitely years and years more value in Baldur's Gate 3. And I think that that's what Bethesda leaned on, was the community creation aspect for Starfield, which was ultimately disappointing to me. It's just so much possibility.
Well, my point is that games don't have the staying power that they once did.
Hey, what up, Hillbilly?
Yeah, where you had people that played, StarCraft and Diablo 2 and back, from the 90s, people stuck with games much longer, right? It's such a rare bird to see like a World of Warcraft that's been around still thumping for years and years. League of Legends, Minecraft.
It's wild that they continue to put out big updates, and 1.21 is coming out pretty soon. They're introducing more enchantments, another weapon type, new biome generation styles, and creatures. So like you're saying, there are nowadays so many games coming out that it's hard to stay with one for a long time.
Yeah,
because it's so easy to get distracted. I mean, if there wasn't Last Epoch, Path of Exile, upcoming PoE 2, then you probably would just play Diablo 4. I mean,
no,
we're blessed for opportunity and choice right now.
I'm just saying that they come out so fast. Big titles come out so fast now that it's like you said, it's hard to stick with one. So it's I'm not bashing any of these games for not being good. It's just that Pal World was good at what it does. But it no games really, no newer games. It seems like every game that holds people's attention for a long period of time, or all the older games. Games that came out 15 years ago.
I mean, I'll be honest. Pal World did some things well, but they had a lot of bad things too.
Yeah,
I still think Ark Survival Evolved blows it out of the water, but it has had more years of development. So
I'm just saying that that's what it appears to me, and I could be completely wrong. But like the ones that people stick with for, fathers and sons and mothers and daughters playing together are older games, right? Generally, no duh, because it's old. So how could people have been with a new game for a long time? What I'm saying is, it seems like there's a decided shift, right? Like, I don't see people sticking with games that were just created 4 years ago. I don't see that happening. I see it more like people either go back nostalgically to older games, or they jump on the hottest newness, right? It's like there's a decided shift.
Yeah. And
things feel much more temporary.
Sometimes it's difficult because there's like installments in games. Why would I go back to Farming Simulator 2018 when they made Farming Sim 20 and 22? Like, I'm not going to go back and play UFC 2 when Undisputed
or Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I get you.
Why go play Mortal Kombat 3 when the newest ones are coming out? They're restarting the whole universe.
They kind of cut their own throat in that respect. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just it breeds that sort of non-permanence, the temporary transitory nature. It builds it into your audience when you're kind of creating this, what have you done for me lately mentality. And I think that this generation of video gamers is much more of the, let's keep hitting that dopamine button. Give me new game, new hotness. Not like sticking with something that you've enjoyed for years and years.
It's tough though, because on the flip side, Stardew Valley, I think is something. It's come out in the last couple of years. I think it was 2017, something like that, and it's still getting more and more updates. It's all the time evolving. There aren't a lot of games. To speak to your point, though, there are not a lot of new games that have the staying power. I don't foresee them around 5 to 10 years from now. In some
like
games,
I said, I think that's building that culture into the newer and younger audience, right? That's their exposure, that's their experience with video gaming or gaming in general. That it's like throwaway. I don't know how else to put it. The games feel that way too, that they're very sort of expendable, Yeah,
it's almost like a consumable. There's a certain amount of fun and enjoyment that you're going to get out of something until you've completed the experience, more or less. And I think that that's one of the reasons I feel that Helldivers 2 is handling the online portion and the live service so very well, is because every couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks or so, give or take, they're introducing new weapons, stratagems, and new ways to engage with the game. And upcoming, they've got like a third enemy type coming out. And with the battle system that they have, there's like an ebb and flow of defending and taking over planets. Whereas something like Overwatch 2, cool, you have your leagues, maybe you get a new character, but that's about the breadth of that depth. You know what they say, wide as a lake, deep as a puddle, and that's about like what Fortnite feels like. Oh, speaking of, somebody
not something I ever got into.
Fortnite account.
I've never played.
So I played Fortnite in beta. Like I have one of the Founders Edition packs or whatever. So it's super rare apparently nowadays. But it was a base builder, and you defend against waves of zombies. Like it was a completely different game when it was originally designed.
Interesting.
Like you still had the ability to run around different guns. It was cartoony, and you'd build shit. But it wasn't a shrinking battlefield. It was a single player game. You'd build a base, and wave after wave of different zombies would come in, and you defend everything and build traps and shit.
Yeah, that sounds way more fun than whatever the fuck it is now.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I never played it after release, because that mode went away.
Yeah, why take it away? Why not still have that mode? Why not just have it in addition to?
It's not monetizable. Yeah.
Well, but who cares? It is monetizable based on people wanting to play it.
Elden Ring. Oh,
is it a free game? I don't even know. Do you have to pay to play that game?
Fortnite?
Yeah.
I think it's free.
No, you have to pay.
You might have to buy it.
Or you used to, at least. I could be wrong. I haven't looked in a long time.
Standard edition Fortnite Battle Royale is free 100-player PvP mode. And then you just like microtransactions. It's always with that fucking MTX nowadays, which is just why Dragon's Dogma 2 is getting so much flack. I mean, you release a game and it has poor performance, and then 1 week after all the reviews are in, you just load it up with 20 different MTX. It's just gruddy.
It depends. Was it always planned to have MTX in it? Or is it's a port, right?
No.
I thought Dragon's Dogma 2 was a port from like PlayStation or some shit.
No, it's a brand new game.
Oh.
Yeah,
it just come out.
I thought it was a port.
So speaking about different modes of play, as I mentioned earlier, exciting news for me. I know Matt's gonna hate what I'm about to show y'all. But
let me guess, you bought more Lorcana.
No. Well, yes, I actually did. And it was actually for this. So Lorcana has announced its next set that's coming out, the 4th set, Ursula's Return. It'll be in stores.
This has been one of my favorite podcasts we've done in a long time.
Didn't we? I'm fairly certain we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the last podcast.
We did, but it's still cool.
All right.
Did we talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
So
how else would I know about it?
Like in our private chat?
Doesn't care.
No, I'm like 99% sure we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it again.
Yeah,
sure.
So interesting.
At any rate, one of the things that it talks about is that it comes.
Lorcana, I just don't enjoy it, so it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. We can talk about it.
So they've created a PvE mode, kind of like Commander Raids. So this is much closer to what was it to Kill a God or Defeat the Hydra from the Theros block where they had a deck.
Yeah.
So can you guys see my mouse? So this is
actually you know what about this? I'm actually more interested in playing this mode than the PvP mode, which is very strange for me.
Oh, me too. I'm actually definitely going to order this
game. It does not feel like a PvP game. It feels very out of place. But this makes more sense. It feels more at home with what the game is, in my opinion.
So this is, like I said, it's a PvE. They replaced in this set the collector set, or the what was the first one, the gift box set, with this different mode, which I think is bravo, brilliant move from Ravensburger to come up with this so early in the game's history that, you know, they're introducing a different way to play with it. So what it tells us also is that the designers over at Ravensburger, or Ravensburger, however you want to pronounce it, or for Lorcana more specifically, is that they're not afraid to think laterally, right? Some of the problems that challenge Magic is that, you know, you're designing into your entire ecosystem this ultimate power creep or reprint problem, right? This is a way that you can create not only a PvE like we did with Commander Raids, but you can sell specific products so they can make money off of this, right? This is something that you could do at game stores and just have somebody watch this, right? Where you, instead of head-to-head competition, you have tables and groups that you sit with. If you defeat it, kudos. They can alter it. They can change the rules. You can do so many different things with this. And it's designed for 3 different difficulty modes, where at the lowest level, just like we did with Commander Raids, it's designed for standard decks, right? So these are going to be standard decks. So you can think of these as the precons, which leads into the, yes, I did buy a case of the Into the Inkland starter decks. I didn't have any before, so I just bought a whole case of them for like $55. And you can bring those. If you've never played it before, you have a deck that you can buy for 10 or 15 bucks at a local store. Get together with this version of it. I hope to see these in stores everywhere. I hope they print the Jesus out of this.
So what I'm hearing is that Ravensburger stole our idea of Commander Raids.
Yeah, they did, because they totally pay attention to Commander Raids.
They saw it and they're like, you know what? That's a damn good idea. Let's make it for our game. I like that.
Yeah, right here it talks about it has 2 pre-built Disney Lorcana TCG decks down here, but it says that you can add more people. I think it's over here.
You're telling me it scales with player count? No way, dude.
What's that?
Yeah, I said you're telling me it scales with player count? No way, dude. They definitely stole it.
Yes, it does. It says 1 to 2 players, but it says up to 4 somewhere. Yeah, right here. Up to 4 players can join in total with the addition of any 2 standard Disney decks sold separately. I'm assuming when they say standard decks, that means the precons that they have.
Yeah.
Probably.
But you can bring any deck, is what it's saying. So you can make use of this PvE format with any of the cards that you have in your collection. So it gives new life and a different look and a different way to play with all of your cards. So kudos, I think it's a tremendous idea.
I believe it's called Reclaim the Princess. No, I've got no idea.
So, no, this is very specific, and I hope that what they do is they replace the gift box with one of these products in every set.
Oh, that's just not happening.
Yeah, unless it's a super big hit like Commander, and it like changes the way they make their game.
At least, I think this definitely could be.
I have to imagine that this has been in production prior to the release. Like they already knew they were going to do this before the game even came out. I think
it's even a beautiful name. What it's called? It's down at the bottom. It's the Illumineer's Quest.
It feels like something, like Matt was saying. It feels like this was a mechanic or a design that they were working on for quite a while in behind the scenes kind of stuff. And I feel as though it probably just took a while for it to actually get to the point where it was functional. And that's why it's coming out now. I think that if this was something they had ready to rock the whole time, they probably would have done this earlier. But I guess, to fight my own point, I think they needed to let the first few sets speak for themselves for it to actually come out, be functional, and for people to actually accept it.
Look, I have nothing but praise for Ravensburger at this point. They have enough product into the market that it's not ridiculously priced. They're giving us not too much, but enough of different looks at the game. They are, in my opinion, a little behind on the tournament scene, if you want to call it that. Like, they did something right at the start to do some support in stores with the promo cards that you get for being in the league. But apparently it was so confusing that most of the stores really didn't understand how they were supposed to deal with those promo cards. But it is, I think, a tremendously good look. Look, Lorcana's been out for not even a year, like a little over 6 months. And they've already got a PvE format. And I guess if you want to call to defeat a Hydra or to kill a god and defeat the Hydra, when did those come out? Like 2012-ish? Is that when Theros was?
Sure.
So it took them closer to 20 years for Magic to come out with a PvE format. So I think they're making a lot of great moves. I'll be honest with you. I really like what I'm seeing from Lorcana. My biggest concern, absolutely 100%, is the contract with Disney. That's the only thing that gives me any kind of hesitation. Because while I trust Ravensburger, I don't trust Disney.
Well, I think with some of the extensions and expansions that they did with Villainous, I think that speaks volumes about the relationship that Ravensburger has with Disney.
Let's hope so. I mean, like I said, I know nothing to quote your video, but I like what I'm seeing. Right, like that's told you. If something has something worth pointing out, I think I'll point it out. Why I'm seeing a lot of hype around the Star Wars Unlimited, and I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole until I see maybe 5, 6, 7 years down the road if Fantasy Flight is still supporting it. I just don't trust the company.
I mean, I personally don't want anything to do with it just because I don't, one, care for Star Wars, and two, it's print to demand. So there will be few cards that are going to hold any value long term. And then three, like, it just doesn't look fun. I've played the game before when we were at Gen Con. It just wasn't exciting to me. I wasn't enthralled by it. There were more things that I disliked than liked about it.
I thought it was fine.
To answer your question, Richie, which one are you talking about? You talking about Fantasy Flight Games, or are you talking about, because Star Wars is an IP, or are you talking about Lorcana? So with Fantasy Flight Games, they've been making a lot of Star Wars products for a long time, like a continuous string of them. They do X-Wing, they do Legion, they did Destiny, they did Imperial Assault. So they've had very long-term contract. That's not the problem. Fantasy Flight gives up on their own games. Like look them up. They're pretty notorious for it. Lorcana, as far as I know, I heard that they had 6 sets laid out. That was the hubbub. That's the word to the grapevine. Disney is my concern with Ravensburger. Now, to Pat's point, they've had a long-standing relationship with Villainous. How many years has that been out? 5, 6, maybe more?
I want to say more than that.
So, but that's not really
it's got to be more than
a
that.
huge interaction. Once they approve printing the product, they could probably have a license to sell that particular product. Whereas something like this, they have to keep broaching new and different IPs, with the different Disney movies.
So it's going on 6 years now.
Okay, like I said, 5, 6 years.
Yeah. Feels longer, but the COVID time stretches probably has some play in that.
Ugh.
So we'll see. I'm not saying I have grave concerns about it. I think that they're doing a wonderful job so far with Lorcana. I think that to even be mentioned, think about that. Think about coming onto the scene with a brand new TCG and even being mentioned in the breath of the big players, right?
Well,
there's debate on whether or not this is already superseding Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I've seen several videos on should Lorcana be considered one of the big 3.
I could see it being part of the big 4. Or, I mean, if you want to throw in One Piece, the big 5. Flesh and Blood, the big 6.
I think Flesh and Blood is falling behind.
I think Flesh and Blood definitely faltered for a while in its last couple sets, but Heavy Hitters was a heavy hitter.
It was a heavy hitter, dude. Whoa, dude. They had it in the name.
Oh
They
my
knew.
god. Man,
apparently the next
name.
set's supposed to be even more insane. It's supposed to be wild. There's like, supposed to watch the trailer, but I keep forgetting. And I don't.
So I'm definitely going to order this.
Do a reacts video, Matt.
Oh my god, you're right. It's probably like a 1 minute video, but
Well, like,
so
that's
with
just some cheap, easy content. Yeah.
With this PvE version, I am totally comfortable taking this to a game night and playing with 3 of my friends that know jack shit about Lorcana or even TCGs. I would feel comfortable teaching them this game, right? Well, whereas if we were going to go head to head, that would just kind of be a feel bad, kind of like the idea behind Commander Raids. Problem about Commander Raids is that Magic cards are so much more complicated that it'd just be difficult compared to. Dude, I didn't realize that. That looks like a pack, doesn't it? Only the victorious. What does that say?
it is a pack of some sort.
Well, I wonder if they're going to
Can you
sell these like
right click on it and open as open image in new tab and see if you can like zoom in on it, enhance,
mega
computer enhance. Zoom. The biggest problem that I have with Lorcana, to be completely honest, is that I actually think the game would not be anywhere near as popular as it is now if it wasn't Disney related. If it didn't have the Disney name, I don't even think anybody would be talking about it.
100%.
That's kind of like saying nobody would care about a model if she wasn't so hot. It's like, okay, true.
It's really carried by the IP. It has nothing to do with the actual gameplay. Like, is the actual gameplay good? I don't know. I never played. It looks boring, but I
recommend you don't play it, Matt. Only the victors shall supposed to say veil this packet, unseal this packet and claim the prize within, or this treasure becomes property of the Sea Witch. For Ursula.
Wait a minute. So hold on a second. This is what we talked about a while ago, where we talked about having a pack of cards. You open it as like a prize as you win.
Yeah, I've said that many times for like Commander Raids. I think that would be a baller idea.
One secret victory card.
It must be like a pack that you can add to your deck, or like maybe a special card. All right, I'm going to pre-order
like a foil version of something, man. But again, like I said, I think that this could be fun for people that don't play. It's PvE. It's casual. Just a home run of a product, in my opinion.
Well, now hold on. You mean wait till you get into your hands first before you just say it's like a win. It could Additionally, something you should very much enjoy, Matt.
A play mat.
A deep trouble play mat? I mean, what am I enjoying?
But two of the letters.
Play alone. So, why can't you see that? That sucks.
Yeah, it looks hilarious. Whatever you're trying to point out.
Whatever you're trying to say or do, or
show. It opened it up in a different. It opened it up. Sorry, in a different screen. I didn't realize that.
I'm like.
So, well, we'll go here.
Go on.
I can't. Right here. Play alone. So you can goldfish against Ursula with your regular Lorcana deck. So if you want to play test against
those decks that you have, Matt, you can use those.
Hell yeah, I'm on it.
I'm just saying that you seem to like that idea with our Commander Raids, and it's built in here that you can play 1 to 2 players, so it's actually 1 to 4.
I definitely goldfish my decks a lot. Not always against Commander Raids, but I definitely do it. I mean, I have a deck like literally sitting to the left of me, just like I just every now and then I'll be playing a video game and then I'll be like, I feel like goldfishing this deck, just shuffling it up and playing. It's kind of the reason why I would like Arena to have an actual real the ability to play Commander, because it just, I don't know, it just feels like it'd be a better thing to do. And I don't want to play Magic the Gathering online. It's just so dated. I remember trying to play it a long time ago, and
dude, everybody, even experienced players, I watch people play and they go, "Oh, damn it! I didn't mean to skip that phase. Oh, I missed the trigger because of this." It's like, well, that sucks. Or even when they're trying to do it and it skips something, and they're like, "Damn it, Mitgo."
The ordering of things is there's no undo. There's no. I mean, I guess the only thing you can really undo is you can tap for mana and then like undo that, but like, I don't know.
Again, it's not optimal. And I think what I was saying before is that clearly there is room in the market and a demand to have a good Commander online client. All right, just
is
something
there?
on the level of
and they probably would make it. Like if they had people pounding down the door, like we need Commander online now. I have a feeling
I don't think they listen to us. I'll be honest.
If they seen the potential money, see what I was told. The reason why they don't do it is because they don't have the 30,000 different cards, and it would take a very long time to like add them into the program and then also make them work. That's what I was told. Like adding all the art, adding all the functionality of every card that's in the game. That's the reason why they don't do it. That's what I was told. Which I get it. That's a lot to take on. Like yeah, sure.
They made $1 billion.
Uh-huh. What does that have to do with anything? It's about the manpower and the amount of time it would take.
It's not like it's a technical impossibility. It's just a matter of manpower.
That's what I'm saying. It's manpower. That's a lot. Manpower it costs money. It costs time. They probably allocate
their AI to do it.
Yeah, well.
Soon enough, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to say. Get AI to do it. Scan all the cards into a database, and I'm sure they got to have all the verbiage in every card in a database already.
What I was confused about is that why don't they have why can't they use Mitgo, like the database that Mitgo uses? Like they technically already have the card in a database somewhere. What do you mean they don't own it?
Boxy doesn't own Mitgo.
Who owns Mitgo?
Oh God, the one that runs EverQuest now. And DC Universes and all that stuff. They actually own it now.
Oh. I know.
Daybreak Games, I think, owns it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
I think it's just old technology.
I wonder if there's like some weird contract thing that they can't like. They'd have to like pay money or like something to like.
That just happened like last year. It wasn't even that long ago.
Did they buy? Will they sell it or like what happened? I'm confused.
You'd have to read into it, but it's run by Daybreak. I don't know if that means that they own it.
It's very strange. I was not aware. I thought it was owned. It always was strange to me that like they have two separate clients. That never made sense to me.
Here, I mean, I'm just going to show this because I don't know if Pat's even paying attention.
There was one thing that I did want to talk about if we want to like use this as the last topic to wrap up because I think we're close to the 2-hour marker.
So right here, State of Magic Online transition to Daybreak.
Interesting. So last little tidbit I saw on Mark Rosewater's blog thing is people were concerned about Modern Horizons 3 power creeping more and changing the meta. And he claims, his words were, and I quote, not quoting his exact words, but I'm quoting the idea of what he said, was basically that their team has used both the knowledge and feedback from sets 1 and 2 to make set 3. So they are trying to avoid the situation that Modern Horizons 1 and 2 did for Modern by completely warping and changing the format. So we'll see how that works.
No issues here.
Yeah, hard to believe.
I think so. Here's the weird thing that I like. Okay, so the reason, I mean, maybe it's not the same. I still feel like it is the same. I don't know. The concept of like leagues and seasons and rotations for games. I think. Well, I guess that's the whole point of Modern is not to have rotation, but the fun for me is like solving a new problem. That's why I like enjoy making decks because I'm like the problem solving of like picking up Commander and trying to utilize him in the best way is a series of solution solving problem, like the mana base and the maybe potential combo pieces. But when people talk about Modern Horizons 1 and 2 warping the format and changing it in ways, it's like if it was changed in a good way to where like more decks were more versatile and maybe it got power crept or something. But I feel like changing the format is a good thing because if you don't, then you just have a stale format.
clearly you don't understand why people wanted Modern in the first place.
That's what I said. I don't know. I've never played Modern. Like
So,
I've
Modern,
never literally ever played Modern in my life.
At least I don't know if you want to call it like the trope or whatever you want to talk, however you want to phrase that, is that people were upset that they would invest all this money into their standard decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they rotate it out, they got to drop all this more money now on a new standard deck. And they wanted to have their favorite decks. That's where that came from.
Sure.
And Gavin Verhey it's sort of like his brainchild, and he went through the whole iteration of it. And they don't like new cards being introduced in the format that are format changing.
Okay.
And they don't.
I can understand that.
They wanted to have their decks be playable for years and years and years with very little tweaking. And so when things like Dockside come into play, it warps the format.
But Wizards of the Coast wants everybody to be tweakers now.
Hell yeah.
I think that they need to come up with, like formats that, they lock down, right? That for a set period of time between this block and this block is this format, right? That way you don't warp formats. You can lock them in place and people can buy decks and they're playable. The problem is people won't stay with it because, people leave Magic after 2 years. That's what they tell us. So in order for somebody to catch up to play, like modern viable decks, which people go, and that really is the premier, tournament scene is Modern. That it's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Otherwise, just proxy shit for like legacy formats, and nobody's going to legacy tournaments.
Most of the tournaments that I see being announced or being advertised is that they actually are free or proxy friendly rather. As far as
not for sanctioned play, and that's what everybody gets all up in arms about with proxies, right?
Sure.
So, Commander, I find it funny when people say that. Like,
well, there is no sanction.
We don't want cards to be expensive, but you can't play with proxies. It's like, wait, what? And that just drives me bonkers.
Yeah, it's definitely catch-22 and antithetical to its own wants, it seems.
No.
Well, what they want to do is have all the cards cheap so you don't have to have proxies, so get rid of the collectible aspect of the game.
Well, the problem is that if you allow proxies in tournaments for Commander, then the cards become valueless.
Tournaments?
They contain no value.
No sanctioned. There are no sanctioned Commander tournaments.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If there was and they allowed proxies, then that would be the problem. Is that
there will never be
a situation where there's just not.
They won't ever do it.
Maybe not tournaments, but some participation, some gameplay.
There'll be never any sanctioned WotC
boss monsters, and that's
yeah,
close.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
but that's not tournament. That's not a sanctioned tournament.
I mean, what is the benefit of being sanctioned? There were still prizes. Oh. There was still prize support. Like what sanctioned meaning?
Not real.
The only thing that matters with sanctioned is like earning the Pro Tour entries and points for that.
Not the ones that are getting like the super rare promo cards. You're never going to get that. You'll get 1,100 points towards buying one pack if you play 6 different games. Because those points are a joke. So people want those promos. That's the whole point. Because it's unrealistic.
Those PTI promos are pretty freaking slick. And I mean, judge promos too. But those are just a secondary market item. Which kind of sucks that they don't do the judge program in the same way that they used to. The big shout out to
Flesh and Blood for doing that
right.
What, the judges?
I heard that they were bringing judge promos back. I could be wrong.
I have no idea.
I remember hearing.
I don't know. I don't know, but they are doing some pretty sweet stuff. They're doing a serialized Mickey Mouse with Ursula, by the way.
Ooh.
For the tournament winners. I don't know exactly what that is. They're going to have several. They're doing some really cool stuff that they'll have like that. What I like is that they're going to be versions of cards that everybody can get their hands on at reasonable prices. But just like with the Enchanted, these are going to be even more exclusive for the tournament support scene. That they're going to be a foil treatment that you can only get from the tournament scene, right? So I expect those to be insanely expensive. And the foil and the serialized Mickey Mouse ones, those are going to be through the roof.
Card going to be playable?
Yeah. They're going to be.
Is it
They've
good
already
to
said.
get
They told us at Gen Con that they're never going to make a card that you can only get as a promo.
No. I meant like, is the card that's the promo a good card?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be a Mickey Mouse. I don't know which one. I don't know if it's going to be a new one that's going to be in the Ursula set. We just know it's going to be a foil. Oh no, they did say it's going to be the little tailor, the intrepid tailor
card. I mean, what's funny is
the
Gen Con promo was. It's an expensive card, but the regular, like, the card's not good. So like
it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not good. Like, it won't go in any. You won't want to put it in any deck if it doesn't come automatic pre-con.
Yeah, but it is a musketeer, right?
Yeah.
So if they add more musketeer support, which, I mean, they've got 3 musketeers already with Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. So if they add more support to make those cards more desirable down the road, look out. Those things are going to get stupid expensive.
Yeah,
and they're not that expensive for my promo to go up in value.
Those Star Wars
it's
promos.
Probably not going to.
Those the Star Wars Unlimited promos are like $30 to $50 a piece right now.
Yeah, it's not very
well.
good.
They were.
I expected them to be higher, to be honest.
They were 100 when we got them, but
yeah.
Right.
That's kind of what I was hoping. I was hoping that when the game came out, they would double in value because people would be like, "Oh, I want the rare, super cool."
Guys, you got multiple copies for free.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And
the Musketeers that we got at Gen Con, you got them free.
Yeah, I should have sold those sooner.
Yeah, I was so pleased. So the only cards I've ever gotten professionally graded were 2 of those Mickey promos. And that honestly doubled the value of them. So that was a very interesting experience going through, seeing that, hey, this card itself in its raw state, valuable. I could sell it for X amount, or I could spend $75, double the value of the card, and make more that way. It's interesting.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, I sold a 9 and a 10, and I still have 1 left.
Yeah, I've actually never graded a card yet. I do plan to. I don't know if I see. Here's the thing. Rudy was talking about he's got this PCG, their own like dedicated grading service, and I was thinking about it. So they grade things. They said they want to be like the trustworthy grading service, but like then that means that the stuff that you get graded through them is going to be harshly graded, which means that it's going to be lower graded than your other Beckett or Ultra Pro or whatever. So that means you're telling me that I have to pay a premium to go through your service to then get a worse grade than I could get going through somebody else. The majority of people don't actually know that like the grading varies that much between places.
Well, it varies even from the same place.
That's what I'm saying. Like you could definitely get it graded and then crack it, open it up, and then resubmit it, and it'll be a completely different grade.
Yeah, it's a whole scheme.
So that's the thing. It's like I don't understand. I meant to message him and like ask him like what your service doesn't make sense to me. Can you make it make sense?
Honestly, I think for me it does kind of in some aspect make sense for the average card to have a lower score, makes the ones with a high score stand out that much more.
How do you compare a Rudy card grading service 8 to a Beckett 10? That's
the problem. Because so here's I've watched a lot of like shows like where they own like pawn shops or they own like whatever where they have graded stuff come in, whether it be sports memorabilia or collectible card games or whatever. They have these things come in and they come in graded by companies that you don't even know who they are. So it's authenticated. But it's authenticated by some random Joe Schmo company. And now, PCG is such a small person. Say I get it graded. Say it gets a 10. That's insane. It's a 10. But, like, it's a 10 from a potentially untrusted grading company. And the majority, the masses don't know that name.
Yeah.
The masses don't know PCG, but they know Beckett. They know.
Right.
Who's the other place? Whoever else grades cards.
PSA.
PGS.
PSA. I kept thinking of PSA. Yeah, so they know PSA. You know, so like that's my problem. My problem is just that. Like I want to use my membership. But yeah, they don't have the name recognition that I think that you need. Because like maybe I submit all my stuff and maybe it gets super high grade, but like it doesn't mean as much if it's a PSA 10. People know that terminology, that phrase PSA. Oh yeah, I know that. But if I go like, yeah, it's PCG 10, like, who the fuck's PCG? Like, I don't know, I'm a patron to this guy who graded my card, and I'm like, okay, well, like, can you get it graded by somebody who gives a shit or who matters in the industry? And maybe one day they get recognized, and that's cool. And maybe that makes those grades more valuable because they're, more trusted.
But just like with everything, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, right? That's
sure. I'm happy if it works out. I don't actually truthfully know how big they are, to be honest. I just know that Rudy is like an owner or like a majority owner or something like that.
Yeah.
So
you know who you listen to about his card grading service?
Nope, nobody that follows him, I guess.
Anybody that's not Rudy.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like he's shilling for his own company, so like of course it's going to be the best ever. Everything is going to be the bee's knees, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I will say that like
he doesn't care, man. All he's got to do is get his $10-20 million bankroll, punch out, and go, see you, suckers.
Sure.
Then everybody who bought boxes, everybody who got Rudy 6.9 anniversary, Rudy, promo cards, Rudy playmats, Rudy. You're left holding the bag when he punches out. Sorry. And I think a whole lot, I hate to say this, but I think he also drives to a great degree the reserve list purchasing. He's been Mr. Reserve List purchaser for a long time.
Oh yeah, if they ever abolish the reserve list, he's gonna have a real bad day.
But what I'm saying, even when he leaves, and that voice of trusted authority, it's called the appeal to ethos. I'm sure, Pat, you're familiar with the concept if you watch like debating and things.
Yeah.
He is basically the authority, right? So when he says, "Oh, every collection should start with the cornerstone of revised dual lands," and he's been guiding not just sealed purchasing, but reserve lists. He's done an awful lot, and people look at him and go, "Ooh, he's got, $20 million worth of reserve list cards. Isn't he wonderful?" Because he's been collecting graded reserve list cards. That's how he started, 25 years ago. Fine,
yeah,
cool.
And he's got his own brand of snake oil now, Benson.
Yes, and he makes the reserve list worth a lot more money, and he's been buying a lot of it. And if
I think that's partly why is like we don't have the monetary ability or breadth to engage with other people to get the monetary ability to manipulate a market like that. And a guy who has that type of money that's throwing a few $1 million at new upcoming sets to have product to sell to thousands of patrons. He was saying the other day in a video that he had 2,000 boxes of something coming in, and it wasn't near close enough to have one for every patron. And if you're paying $15,
I heard about that. I was wondering how many he has.
I mean,
I'm still a patron.
He's probably got 3,000 to 5,000 patrons. Is my guess.
He's got a cap on it. He could have way more if he wanted to, but he's capping it. Oh, actually, what he said?
The problem with having more,
he gets over $10,000 a month on Patreon. By the way, he actually said it recently in a video. He said I thank you to the patrons who give me the $10,000 a month paycheck on Patreon. So we could probably break that data down and get an estimate.
I don't trust that as far as I could throw it.
I mean, he could just be chucking a number out there. It might be low, it might be high.
And what I'm saying, my point about the reserve list was he's hyped it up, right? Even if he doesn't sell off his position, as he drifts away, as he exits YouTube, which he's said many times, that constant reminder about the perceived value of reserve list cards is going to dip. You're going to need to have somebody else step up and constantly keep ringing that bell besides Moxman and his local LGSs that, the reserve list exists. It's a thing. It should be valuable. And as that voice quiets, it will not hold the same value long term.
I'm calling it now that he has a heavy position in Magic 30. He always says that he doesn't. He always says that he hates it. He always says it's a failure of a product. but because it has such low print run and the potential is there to just completely corner the market and completely, it's almost like I don't know. I feel like he's snake oiling that it's so bad, what a disaster, and then he'll come out of nowhere and he'll be like, hey, I've bought every copy available under $800. Let's go.
Right.
He's got 10% of the market or 20% of the market.
Yeah, for sure.
It is small. Like you said it before, it wouldn't take much to corner the market on the available product. But there's something sketchy going on there. I've been watching for like a year now, and the supply stays constant, which is bizarre.
Well, it's like probably being dripped by WotC. They have
13 and 16 copies always available. I'll bet you if you look right now, it's going to be somewhere between 13 and 17 copies available.
If I had Rudy money, I would buy every single one under 1,000.
More than that. I counted. So it says 19 listings.
Oh, you're wrong.
Okay.
But that's 19 plus, what was that?
Sure.
7.
Sure. I'm
so
talking about the
26.
listings. The listings stay consistent. Like,
yeah.
No matter how many sell, like there's always that many.
But it's wild to think that there's like $26,000 worth of this available on TCG Player right now. I mean, this is hilarious. $2 shipping. I swear to God, if you send me $1,000 item, $2, the fuck out of here.
They just wrap it in brown paper and ship it.
It looks like somebody today bought 4 of them at $987.77.
This is what I'm saying. Like when I
shipping though.
When I mentioned it to you guys, there were like 13 listings, right?
Yeah. But I mean, somebody bought
that was like 2 weeks ago, right? And it fluctuates. It went up to 16, then it went back down to 14. Yeah. And you see, people are buying them. How is it stay this consistent like supply with people? Like, look and see how many have been bought. I'll bet you there's been at least 20 copies bought since the beginning of the year.
If I had Rudy money, I would buy I just don't understand why he doesn't. He has the money and the capital to easily influx this market and disrupt it completely. He can make it double overnight.
But here's the thing: I think that if he bought all the available supply, within the next 2 weeks, you'd see it back to 13 to 16 copies.
Well, yeah, people are probably holding out, thinking that it's going to go up in value. That's probably the reason why it's being drip fed. They don't want to exit at 1,000. They want it to be 1,300, 1,600, 2,000.
Right.
I'm actually a little disappointed that I didn't sell mine when I had an offer for 1,800. It was a little disappointing that I.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get it. Here's the thing:
people right now, and have been fanning the flames that this is the scapegoat why things suck at Wizards, which is comical considering there were only 12,000 boxes ever made. That's 48,000 packs. How would they possibly have that much influence on the Magic market overall when you consider the number of products that are out there? 48,000 total packs.
Is that true? Where's that data from?
The data comes from the people that supposedly scraped the website. In the 30 minutes it was for sale, that roughly 2,000 boxes were sold.
Right, but you also have to remember that we got packs at Magic 30, so those are not included.
Basically 300 more boxes is what you can consider.
Okay, that's what I was curious about. I just wasn't sure if they ever announced.
What about the giveaways?
No, I wasn't sure if they ever announced the print run.
And they announced that they were giving 1 to every LGS and 4 to every premium WPN store.
Yeah, but that was after the clusterfuck. That wasn't. I don't think they ever planned to do that.
Still, even at those numbers, that comes up to roughly 12,000 boxes.
Sure.
That's so sad. Imagine opening up a pack for $250 and you get a fucking $9 rare.
Oh, dude. Well, first off, there's also something else. I mean, it could be. Yeah, and I said you're an idiot. Dude, we were sitting across the table the day that those two guys, remember that, Matt?
Yeah.
We're sitting there watching them open. Do you remember what I said to him? Like, you do realize that those packs are like, what did I say, $500? I think they were at the time.
Yeah, well, I think we probably said $300-$400, but I remember the guy got a.
Did you see the look on his face when we said that?
He didn't care.
No, he stopped for a second and went, no.
So
but they kept opening them.
I remember the one guy, he got a Mox Ruby and he sold it to one of the vendors for $500, and he was like super happy about that. Right now on TCG,
for like $200.
No. Well, he got it for I think they gave him $500 for it.
I thought they said like $200 or $250, but whatever.
I remember $500. He was super stoked. But right now on TCG Player, they're $1,250 4 listings.
What here's the thing is I don't think that most people, like, if you listen to me, you understand how rare it is, and I still think and right now they're just tanking the Mythic Edition ones. These are rare items, folks. They're never going to be reprinted, and there's like 15,000 of the Mythic Edition boxes, no matter what's in them. Only 15,000 ever made. Roughly, we'll even go up as high as 25,000 boxes of M30 because we just don't know, right? Fine. That's minuscule. That's like 4 times smaller than the entire print run of Alpha. 4 times smaller.
Yeah.
So that's 4 times more rare than Alphas. Right? So they are very, very rare. And people have been shredding them, treating them like garbage. Okay. Yeah. I don't think that's a super wise idea. So ultimately, down the road, if the game survives, people are going to recognize after the hate dissipates, they'll look at it maybe like Chronicles. Huh?
You're talking about Magic?
Yeah.
If the game survives. You mean the game that's been surviving for 30 years?
Yeah. If it survives, people will ultimately begin to recognize just how rare things are. They seem to lose that shit in the moment, and then they go back going, "Oh wait, it was that rare? Shit. Maybe it is more valuable." Just like a box of freaking Fallen Empires, you can buy an entire set for way cheaper than you can buy a box. So it's that mentality, and I don't even care though. Like, I like having rare and weird shit in my collection. Just like, for example, I didn't care about the Beast of Burdens that I bought. I just like having them, and I like having rare things in my collection for me. And I have the 4 copies of the Beast of Burden that's missing the date stamp on it. From the Urza's Legacy pre-releases, because I realized I didn't have I know I went to the release. I don't know why I didn't have one. So I still don't have one that has a date stamp on it. It's bizarre to me. But I have 2 foil lightning dragons, so I must have gone to 2 pre-releases for Urza Saga. But I like having those in my collection. I don't care. I bought them for $8 a piece. They're now, I don't know, what are they? Anybody got TCG Player open? Beast of Burden, no date. But they're like $100 and something last I checked. Beast of Burden, no date.
And Prime are awake. Hey, if you guys are up for killing some bugs when the stream ends here in a little bit, let's go spread some managed democracy, shall we, boys?
I don't know what that means. And if I could see my own ass cheeks, I'd let you guys know.
Honestly, Richie, this is hilarious. I thought he had a bee on each cheek, so when he bends over, it says Bob. Like, I legitimately think that is funny.
So at any rate, like I said, I have those at like $93 a piece. I'm not planning on selling them. Just, I like having these things in my own personal collection.
You're not planning on selling anything. So
no. I have been debating it later, more and more lately, of selling off most of my Magic collection. I really have. Just to.
The problem is you're going to sell it at the worst time.
I know, but I need space in my house. It's becoming more of a drudgery.
If you're talking about selling your old stuff, that is not the right time. I mean, I guess it's possible it goes lower, but
There's a slight possibility, but I mean, from here, I feel as though we're at a very bottom for most of the MTG market.
We'll see. But I don't know. I mean, and it's not more about the money. It's not about whether I'm selling at a good time or a bad time. I just thought about it to kind of get rid of that boat anchor of it, make more room in the house.
Talk to Dave.
You've been back in your past. You had to sell your stuff, and you regretted selling it. I don't know why would you make the same mistake.
That's the thing that makes me not want to sell it. But even at that, it wasn't so much. It does feel a little bad. There's a couple feels bad with it, but I kind of.
God damn, Richie, cut deeper. Unless corporate policy changes, we ain't at the bottom.
I 100% agree with Richie. I think this is a bubble. I think that people experiencing, it tends to follow crypto. So I think there's a lot of Timmies out there with a lot of crypto that go, ooh, I made more money. Let me go buy some more Magic. I think we'll see during the next economic downturn, we're going to see a lot of pressure on Magic. Guarantee you.
I think that Magic probably is safer. That hot take, tinfoil hat time, not financial advice. Magic's probably safer than crypto just because it's a physical item. Whereas with the advent of really aggressive AI bots, you could probably get really close to crypto not being as safe as people thought it would be. I mean, with quantum computing and like,
I'm with you on that too, but I'm just saying that they tend to shadow each other. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I never quite understood why. I think it's just alternative money.
Well, because I think that most of the people that buy Magic, to be quite honest with you, the ones that are keeping it afloat with the gambler mentality, crypto's another form of gambling. So,
I think WotC's doing very good recently.
Okay. We'll see.
If they keep going this direction, I think they're going to be just fine.
Okay.
Now, we'll see how they handle Fallout. If there's no reprints of Fallout, I'm sticking with that. If they like all of a sudden there's like another wave of Fallout collector boxes, then yeah, it's fucked.
If there's another wave of Fallout collector boxes, I'm probably just gonna buy some so I can fucking open it. Like it's like that's the biggest problem I have is that I think I would be just about the happiest Pat ever if Fallout collector boxes were the price of Crimson Vow collector boxes. Like if they were foreclosed manor price, I would draft with it.
I'll be honest with you, if they came out with M30 play boosters, I'd buy them.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Yes, 100%. Like I would enjoy like that grind of some old school MTG. And for you, like to
draft and play with people, to be able to have that experience that most people never got to have, I think we'd be dope as shit. And I'd be happy if they sold it at even $150 a box. I think it's the right price.
I was gonna say, with them being like fake, I mean, you could just do it yourself. I mean, realistically,
I have thought about doing that from MPC and buying in bulk. But did you see how much the fucking wrappers are for packs? At like the places that do custom packing.
No,
I think they even have it at MPC, don't they? I put it in our private chat.
I would just do like
$3 or $4 a pack to wrap the cards. I was like, what? Get out of here.
You could just do the thing where you get like the packs you can they're kind of like reseal the cube packs.
I have those. I have those.
Yeah.
Oh, Pack-a-Majigs.
Yeah, those.
Yes, I have those. I have those. I have like 100 of them. But yeah, I mean, but honestly, I don't have a group to play with that. Like, I don't think that the gang at your house would be down for that, Matt.
For Magic 30, yeah, they would. Jimmy's a big drafter.
No, not Magic 30, but just you print off beta.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about like trying to draft the beta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would be down for that for sure. I mean, I'll ask him Thursday. We should be playing. We should be playing Magic Thursday. I'll ask him, but
yo, honestly, don't drop that soap, Sammy.
Yeah. Ooh. Anyways, I think that we've had a full evening, and I want to thank everybody that's been in chat tonight with us. Thanks for grinding it out with us here. Hopefully, you've had a good time in Magic and gaming overall over the last couple of weeks. I hope that you all enjoy tomorrow for whatever reason. And I appreciate every one of you.
And don't forget, Monday chocolate will be really cheap at grocery stores.
True, half off, dude.
And that fake grass shit.
Well, until next week, everybody out there, take care, be well, love you bunches. Bye now.